Non-conference matchup between the visiting Neenah Rockets and the host Menasha Blue Jays. It's the 99th meeting between these two historic programs, and we are proud to bring you tonight's game here on a sunny Friday night, week 2 of the high school football season. I'm Ricardo Arguello, part of USA Today Network Wisconsin, hanging out as always with Brett Christopherson and bringing you those high-definition shots. Jim Rosandick, all part of USA Today Network Wisconsin. And these two teams know each other quite well, and we're expecting a good one here, Brett. Again, 99 meetings between these two programs. That's incredible, one of the longer rivalries you'll see in the state.
Absolutely, Ricardo, and it's really cool because these are both very good teams in their respective divisions. Neenah coming in ranked 9th in Division 1 in the WisSports.net State Coaches Poll. Menasha opened the season top 10 in Division 3. You can see that banner across the way. 2014 state champs for the Menasha Blue Jays, 2019 state runners-up. Neenah, they've got designs on picking up kind of where they left off, then going even further, right? They got to the second round. They were co-conference champs last year with Kimberly. So you have a nice juicy rivalry, and we'll go over kind of the numbers of the rivalry. But on top of that, they're both good, and that's going to make this fun tonight. One thing we have to kind of keep an eye on, though, quarterback situation for the Rockets. Evan Van Evenhoven, is he going to play? He suffered, a sprained wrist last week in that victory over De Pere. Will it be the young freshman? Will it be
Ashton
Van Beek? Will he be taking snaps tonight? And if so, how's he going to play as a freshman quarterback?
And the same thing on Menasha's side as well, Brett. You're looking at the Blue Jays, which has been known for the last, 3 or 4 years. You kind of tie them in with A.J. Court, the great quarterback who has performed so well for them over the years. But this season, it's Logan Legal. Logan Legal, sorry.
Yeah.
Junior quarterback for Menasha. So, that's going to be one of the storylines for tonight's game. And, Brett, you again, every week you come through, you put together the football game notes, Brett. So let's get to know these teams a little bit. I'll start off with Menasha. Brett will finish with Neenah. Menasha, again, as Brett said, coming in 1-0. They're coming off a hard-fought 21-19 non-conference win over Appleton East on Friday. That was at Appleton East Pickett Field. Logan Legal, big night, threw for 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, 19 of 31 passing. Those 3 touchdowns were to 3 different receivers, Parker Wynant. Did I say that right, Brett? Ryan Johnson and Jaden Lancer. Wynant was credited with a 91-yard touchdown reception. Legal also rushed for 55 yards on 11 carries as the Blue Jays finished with 454 yards overall. Elijah, did I say that right, Brett?
You did.
Elijah, is it Geigel?
It is, yes.
Oh, boy. Right off the bat. Led
Good
Menasha
job.
in rushing with 98 yards on 13 carries. Ty Carlson, top receiver, 6 catches, 58 yards, while Wynant led the way in receiving yards with 121 on 3 grabs. John Younger and Johnson each finished with 4 catches. Now, defensively, Carlson was top with 7 total stops. Younger posted an interception, and Cole Calkins tallied a forced fumble. Menasha picked to finish second behind Notre Dame in the Fox River Classic Conference South this season. Blue Jays coming up a 9-2 season that saw them win the league title and advance to the second round of the WIA Division III playoffs. Their next home game, that's against Manitowoc in a conference matchup. Fox River Classic Conference South matchup. That's next Friday, kickoff scheduled for 7 o'clock. Brett, what can you tell me about the Neenah Rockets?
Yeah, the Rockets 1-0 like the Blue Jays coming in undefeated, week 1 victory. Ranked 9th, as I said, in Division 1 in this week's WisSports.net State Coaches Poll. They're coming off a wild 49-37 non-conference victory over De Pere last Thursday to open their brand new school and field. A game we streamed, Ricardo. Grant Dean, the star of the show, and he was unstoppable. 6 touchdowns, including 5 rushing, to power a Neenah offense that rushed for 450 yards and finished with 476 yards in all. Dean was credited with scoring runs of 44, 17, 23, and 15 yards on his way to rushing for 282 yards on 26 carries. He also scored on an 88-yard kickoff return in the second quarter that gave the Rockets a 28-10 lead. Quarterback Evan Van Evenhoven, who, as I said, exited the game in the third quarter with, I guess, what's being described as a sprained left wrist. He ran for 112 yards on 12 carries, while Chase Collins chipped in with 45 rushing yards on 5 attempts. Van Evenhoven only attempted 5 passes, completing 3 for 26 yards. Luke Young, he had 2 of those receptions for 15 yards total. Defensively, Cole Fensky paced the Rockets with 10 tackles. Will St. Clair and Ricardo, you guessed it, Grant Dean.
8
tackles apiece. Neenah did allow 400 passing yards, as DePere quarterback Easton Arndt completed 26 of his 45 attempts. 2 Redbirds receivers, Hayden May, Mason Sequin, finished with over 100 receiving yards. So we'll see how that Neenah pass defense can do against a Menasha pass offense that looked pretty sharp in week 1. Neenah picked by WisSports.net to finish 3rd in the Fox Valley Association. Top-ranked Kimberly, who we saw last night take down Bayport in another varsity game of the week live stream. The Papermakers tabbed to win the league title, while Fond du Lac, who we will see next Thursday, is tabbed or picked to place 2nd. And the Rockets, as I said also earlier, finished 9-2 a season ago and in a tie with Kimberly for the FBA championship, their first since 2017. The Rockets advanced to the 2nd round of the WIAA Division I playoffs, where they fell to the Papermakers. And up next for the Rockets, they're at Appleton East. That's a Thursday night game. Fox Valley Association matchup kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m.
Again, Brett, as I parked over there, I think it was called Blue Jay Way. I can't remember what street that is over there. It's always nice to walk into Calder Stadium.
Beautiful setting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Right here in the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
I know some folks, some houses, I don't know if they still do it, they'll sit outside and have a little bonfire in their driveways, maybe a little cookout. I see the Neenah Menasha firefighters over there. They're standing on top of the fire truck getting a good view of Calder Stadium here tonight.
Announcer very excited.
Looks like Parents' Night here as well as it was last night at Papermaker Stadium. But what a game we had. Came down to a last-second field goal, right? 47 seconds to go. 21-yard field goal by Lance Doring gave the Papermakers a 17-14 victory over Bayport. Great non-conference game in week 2.
And a last-second sack.
Yeah, by Sam McGivern, who took down Carter Calise, the Bayport quarterback, trying to one last heave to maybe get in field goal range, or who knows, a Hail Mary, but McGivern was having none of that, so that was a fun game. More on that and more on this game in a moment. First, our national anthem.
And now, please stand and welcome the Scarlet Guard American Legion Color Guard. For the presentation of the colors, please remain standing until the Color Guard has left the field. Freedom. If not already, we ask that you do please stand and remain standing. Remove your hats and place your hand over your heart for the playing of our national anthem.
Just about ready to get things started here in this non-conference Week 2 matchup, Neenah versus Menasha. Kind of still weird to say non-conference between these two teams because, Ricardo, when I started here in the late 90s, 97 actually, believe it or not, that was a Fox Valley Association matchup, two longtime rivals, and then there was a little bit of a hiccup or a hiatus, I guess you could say, in the series.
Yeah, that was when Menasha moved to the Bay?
Yeah, the Bay Conference, and now it's good that these two teams have rekindled the series. I mean, gee, neighboring communities, right? Bordering communities and two excellent football programs. So a good test for both sides. Hey, I want to thank our season sponsors, as always. First, Cellcom. Unlimited data for smartphones is now more affordable than ever at Cellcom with new unlimited data plan options starting as low as $25 per month per line. No matter how many lines you need, Cellcom has you covered. Visit cellcom.com/unlimitedplus for details. And Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear. Get your team, club, or business name out there with Cooney's. They customize products specifically to fit their customers' needs. Delivery service is available. Contact them today at 920-731-0922 or send them an email at Cooney's, COONEYS 0922 at sbcglobal.net. Want to thank Rick Grable, the athletic director here, and his crew. Always good to see the Menasha folks. Always appreciate what they do for us, Ricardo. And talking to Rick when Rosie and I were here for a live stream check on Tuesday. By the way, folks, we are using a Wi-Fi signal, okay? So don't get mad at us if there are hiccups. But we're doing the best we can. But anyway, Rick and I were talking. Jody, who's here helping us out as well, part of the Menasha game day crew. Just what a venue, and you kind of touched on it. But even just when you're in the stadium, what a beautiful sight, right? The bleachers or the stands are raised, they're elevated. You can kind of tell across the way how that works. So you got a great view of the field, and it really is one of the top-notch venues. That you can see why last year they hosted a state semifinal between Kimberly and Bayport.
Yeah, and I have nothing against Menasha. I love Calder Stadium, but I still think that should have been at UW Oshkosh. Was there a playoff game or something was going on there? I can't remember what happened.
I can't remember either, but obviously you can fit a lot of fans in here, both sides. And, again, beautiful turf field, elevated stands. I actually got to also meet the superintendent here, Matthew Zimmerman. He's making his rounds. I think he said he is the new superintendent here at the Menasha Joint School District, so he popped his head in, making sure we're good to go. I asked him if he knew name pronunciations. He said, I just got here.
Oh, yeah.
But then he popped in later and said, did you get those names? So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. Neenah will kick off. Ty Carlson, number 1, and number 13, Ty Schwartzkopf, back to receive this opening kickoff here in a beautiful Friday evening, Week 2. Ricardo, we're almost a third of the way through the season already.
That's true. Next week we will be officially.
That goes by fast, doesn't it? Schwartzkopf going to pick it up at the 5 and off to the races, looking for something. Number 12 for the Rockets. Will St. Clair, one of the first ones there to bring down Schwartzkopf. And we are underway in this Week 2 matchup. First time Rosie has to be outside, too.
Beautiful day, though, right, Rosie? Or beautiful night, I should say. It's beautiful. It gives me the thumbs up.
They were talking rain potentially tonight, last night.
I think that's going to hold off. I don't think we're going to have anything like that.
I think it'll be more north, right, if anything. So that's good. Beautiful night. Rosie, I think you're going to like it better out there because it's a little stuffy. And Ricardo, he smells a little bit.
No, I don't. I have my cologne on. And yesterday I took my monthly shower.
It's a little tight in this in booth here in Menasha. So, Rosie, you got the nice breeze.
First down and 10 off the right side. Trying to see who carried that.
Get a number on that.
Is that 24?
Looks like 24, Elijah Geigel. Quarterback, as you said, a junior, Logan Legal, L-I-E-G-L.
Legal.
Be very interesting now. just going from week 1 to week 2, we saw the Rockets, as I said last week, had no problem moving the ball, putting up a lot of points, a lot of yards. Grant Dean with a big night, rushing overall the Rockets 400 yards. But how's this defense?
The defense, right, exactly.
Defense gave up over 400 yards passing to the Redbirds, and don't think the Blue Jays are going to throw it too much. As I say that, there's Legal going to swing it down towards the middle. A little overthrow. Intended receiver was Quinn Ludvigsen. That's a tough one to say, senior tight end. And a third down coming up for the Blue Jays. Yeah, Neenah Menasha, 99th time. Very first game they played, Ricardo, I looked it up, 1896, when the two teams battled to a scoreless tie. How about that for action? They then squared off in every season from 1926 through 1967, and then again from 1970 through 2013 before, as we talked about, Menasha moved out of the FVA. The two teams then resumed the series in 2021. Third down and 9 for Legal. He's going to drop back again. He's got some time. Now he's going to have to get rid of nothing downfield. That's a good coverage sack for the Rockets. And number 12 in there, Will St. Clair, the senior outside linebacker. He had time, Ricardo. He had time. Well, there is a flag, though, here on the play. So what are we going to get?
And that is in the defensive backfield, Brett. Was there some holding?
Yeah, Menasha's clapping its hands and pointing towards the Rockets. So maybe, as you said, maybe defensive holding. Seems like a little bit more of away from the play, though, right? Like
yes.
Legal was kind of looking more middle and right. As the officials getting together to sort this out. Rosie saying the same officiating crew as last night. Oh, sure. Yep, I do recognize those guys. And, yeah, it will go against Neenah. And they're going to call defensive holding against the Rockets. Rockets have won the last two meetings. That included a 35-13 victory last season in Week 2 prior to these two-game winning streak for the Rockets. So Menasha had won the previous 6 matchups.
That ball's way out to the 34, Brett. And a first down.
So a first down by a defensive penalty. We saw that. That hurt Bayport last night a couple times. Kimberly able to, what was that, I'm trying to remember. It was a pass interference and a face mask against Bayport last night. Kimberly able to turn that into a touchdown. See if the Blue Jays can take advantage of the big penalty, 1st and 10 for Legal. That's number 24, Elijah Geigel, the junior running back.
Ball's at the 36, so gain of 2 yards.
Next week, Thursday, will be our next Varsity Game of the Week live stream. We're going to be down at Fond du Lac. Looking forward to checking out the Cardinals' new field at their high school now. I'm going to have to take a different route down to Fond du Lac.
Maybe the
I'm thinking the Eastern Shore.
yeah, because that high school is on the
east side. So
yes.
instead of Highway 41, which is a racetrack now, we have a nice leisurely drive down 151 along Lake Winnebago. I've done that drive before. No, we'll play action. Swing it over. Good block, but good pursuit. So catching it is Jonathan Younger, the senior wideout. And didn't see who got in quickly to bring down Younger for the Rockets, but there was a pretty good block. It looked like Younger had some space, but Rockets defender able to shed that block, and now a third down coming up again for the Blue Jays.
manageable third down for Menasha. Again, that offensive line is going to be critical for the Blue Jays tonight in this game, as Leigel now adjusting his backfield here. 3rd and 5 for the Blue Jays.
He's going to keep it. And well, let's see. He's trying to get around.
Ooh,
let's see. He's close. And they give him the first down. So good job by Legal. Get around that edge. Knew what he needed. And another Blue Jays first down, ball at the 44-yard line. Nothing fancy there, just kind of tucking it in, reading his blocks, using his blockers, and getting just enough to move the chains.
Yeah, and Leigel's a thick guy. I mean, you can just check. You can just see he's been in the weight room a little bit, bigger dude.
Two teams that live in the weight room, right? Two programs. I know they're very high on what's been happening at Neenah in recent years and the dedication in the weight room, and that's been a long-time staple, of course, for Menasha, and how good this program has been for many years. Not much there for Geigel. You feel the build right now for Neenah, though, don't you? I mean, in just recent seasons, keep taking those next steps, and feel like they're a budding powerhouse right now in the FEA.
Coach Young certainly has them trending in the right direction. And speaking of direction, you know, Menasha has been a power in D2 and now in D3, at least for 10 years, maybe even longer than that.
Well, again, looking at that state championship 2014, and they're pretty darn good even in seasons before, like you said. But second down and 9 for Menasha, taking its time. I don't think you're gonna. I think you're gonna see a quick moving clock tonight. I don't think you're gonna see a ton of passing. As I say that, there's legal. And a good job by, that was number 82, I believe, for the Rockets, Connor Briones, the senior outside linebacker, knocking it down.
Yeah, Briones did a good job because they had fullback Ryan Johnson in the flatbread, and I believe he had some green in front of him, so he's a big kid, trying to get down. He would have at least been close to a first down if that pass had been completed.
Yeah, Briones 6'2", so using all of that 6'2" frame and those long arms, 205 pounds, a good job. I was going to say, though, I remember, as I said, I started out here in '97 when I covered the Neenah Menasha area, and back then Menasha football, it was
struggling.
It was a bit of a struggle, you could say. So was Kimberly, though, back then.
Things can change. You need the right mindset in coaching.
Not much there for legal. I think that might have been Tawan Rich, 6'2" senior defensive lineman, one of the first ones to wrap up legal. And have to think that Menasha will get the punt team out. Looks like legal also Ricardo the punter. So
Brett, 9-play drive for Menasha. So I think you get some positives out of this, moving the ball against the Neenah defense, able to flip field position just a tad, depending on how well this punt is executed.
Well, keep in mind, Grant Dean back to return. You do not want to punt it to him. You want to kind of angle this out of bounds. Legal, going to kind of run. And going to let it bounce.
Happened.
Yeah, you keep it away from number 8 on special teams. Don't want to get him in space after 6 touchdowns, video game-like numbers. Hey, I see our guy, Bill Glasheen, our photojournalist. He's back down there again, walking to our right near the 20-yard line. He'll have a photo gallery later tonight on postcrescent.com. There he is, waving to us. Bill does a great job. Dan Powers as well. I have to think Bill and Dan will be out Lambeau Field tomorrow afternoon for the final preseason game between the Packers and Seahawks.
And then it's 2 weeks. I'm not sure why the NFL switched to that,
Well, they got rid of the 4th preseason game and added a regular season game, but they could at least started the preseason a little bit later, right?
Or start the regular season right on Labor Day.
Yeah, why not? Why not? There's Dean with his first touch, trying to get something, and that's number 5 for the Blue Jays. Jonathan Younger, defensive back, holding on for dear life. And about a 3-yard pickup for Dean. Second down for the Rockets.
Van Beek at quarterback for the Rockets.
Yeah, Evan Van Evenhoven, Ricardo. I know you talked to Steve Young, coach, and said it was a sprained wrist, right? Not non-throwing hand.
Right, and it's better to be precautious. We have a whole season ahead of us here, as not much there for.
Well, in Van Beek, Ricardo, he came in third quarter, kind of earlier in the third quarter, and did well. Didn't seem to be fazed by playing varsity football at all. So now with a week of practice, you get Van Evenhoven more rested up, and it is a non-conference game as well. The FEA slate starts next week, so you imagine Van Evenhoven, it won't be too long he'll be out, and get him back in time for some of these big FEA matchups. Third down coming up for the Rockets. Let's see Van Beek. He didn't attempt to pass last week Just 5 passes for the Rockets. And he's going to do a little play action, going to swing it out. And a nice pitch and catch to number 5. I think is that going to be Chase Collins?
I believe so. It gets it out to the 28. That's a first down.
So Collins wore 44 last week, wearing number 5 this week. And a good job by Van Beek, his first career pass. It goes for a first down and looked pretty calm out there as well with some pressure in his face.
Good high percentage pass dialed up by Neenah.
Collins, fumble.
Fumble.
Menasha got it. So the first mistake of the game, a bad exchange between Van Beek and
Miller.
Collins. And it's picked up by the Blue Jays, and look at great field position now for Menasha after that turnover.
That play just looked a little funky to start. And gotta like Carson Miller, Johnny on the spot, Brett, able to get that fumble recovery, and now great field position for Menasha starting its second offensive series. You like it a lot better and at the Neenah 28 than you do at your own 23.
That's good math.
Yeah, you like my analysis there?
I do. So let's see if Menasha can turn that turnover into some points. And like you said, with this field position, Jeremy Korth, that staff, they're thinking 6 points right now. Especially with the way they're able to move the ball here to start. I know that drive ran out of gas near midfield, but did a few good things to begin. And another look at number 17, Logan Legal, the quarterback. Handoff, that's Geigel.
He immediately had to adjust his feet, Brett, because there was nowhere to go in the design hole.
Could be a defensive battle again tonight like we saw last night. I like those games.
Well, you know, Menasha, I know when I talked to Korth after their win over Appleton East, I know there was a lot of stuff for them to clean up, number one. But he also gave kudos to Appleton East. That's a very big offensive line that the Patriots have, Brett.
Yeah.
So it took them a little while to kind of adjust. He said they were massive, I think was his quote. Just some things you got to iron out. It's the first week of the season. Now you're in your second week and going against a very good Neenah team here is Legal.
Little high, but he was open. Legal with the attempt to tie Schwarzkopf, just couldn't connect. It was there. Schwarzkopf was open, just a wayward throw. Third down coming up. Yeah, Ricardo, I have that quote, what Jeremy Korth said to you last week after that win against Appleton East. Quote, our youth showed at moments I was really proud of our guys and how they faced adversity and persevered. We did several things well and several things that will get fixed in practice. Appleton East is a massive team. Both teams played very hard. It was a stressful but fun high school football game, end quote.
Got to give kudos to Appleton East head coach Mark Kramenacher there. I mean, taking it to the limit with Menasha, and I know that's a team that's like to build their head. They have a big game against Appleton West tonight, Brett.
Yeah, intercity game between the two Appleton schools. Legal going to keep it and plunges
look at
forward.
That.
Good hard run. He'll be close,
He's
maybe a little
close.
shy.
I think he's a yard shy, Brett. I think you got to go for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
What I liked about Legal's run there, Brett, was that he got hit. I mean, I think he got hit, and then he still got 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to get that name down here soon,
Legal.
by the way.
I got to just remember Legal Eagles.
Legal Pad.
That terrible 80s movie.
Rosie, at some point you got to get a good look at the firefighters across the way on that fire truck.
They're just chilling over
there. They're hanging out. They're enjoying the night.
Somebody get them some hot dogs and brats.
Good for them.
Maybe a little refreshment.
There's a good look right there. Rosie's on them.
Rosie, attaboy.
Good for them. Enjoying the night, enjoying some football here, and push, and let's see. Yeah, he's got the first down.
They got the scrum going there, Brett. It's going to be close, though. You know, Hank
DeWild, he's asking, please tell me you asked the coaching staff about those tie-dye shirts. Fortunately, didn't have a chance to get down there and ask. I know there was a moment, I believe there was a moment of silence at the beginning of the game, so perhaps something to do with maybe honoring a Blue Jay fan or.
Oh, Brett, they got the corn roast going. I'm just eyeing up some folks walking in with some roasted corn, getting a little hungry.
Legal under center is going to hand off to Geigel. Geigel trying to bounce it outside. Nothing doing there.
No.
Good pursuit by number 70 and 82. 70 is Hudson Temelian. I hope I'm saying that right. 82, Connor Briones. Yeah, for everybody, excuse me, let me try that again. Need some water. If anybody knows out there about the tie-dye, the story, send us a tweet. I'm at PC Bretzi. Ricardo's at Ricardo De Leon. Let us know. Didn't get a chance. Rosie and I were so busy trying to get things set up and situated that didn't have a chance to ask. Second down and 11 for Legal, and he's just going to kind of keep it, looking for a seam. Not much there. Briones, one of the guys in on that. So Briones having an active start to this game. Check that. It's 92, not 82. Tawan Rich. And I think Will St. Clair, number 12, in there as well. Rich, a defensive lineman. St. Clair, an outside linebacker. Third down. And Ricardo, interesting to see what comes of potential fourth down if Jeremy Korth will think about a field goal in this situation. Pretty close. I just don't know what the kicking situation is here for the Blue Jays. See what Legal has first, though. He's thinking, no, we're going to get the first down. And play fake, and there's nothing there.
Wow.
Nothing there.
They sniffed that out.
Number 70, Hudson again.
Aiden Carey also, Brett, number 9.
Yeah, Aiden Carey and Tamulian. Maybe that's how Tamulian. I got a lot of name pronunciations for the Rockets, but I didn't get Hudson. So defensive lineman, senior for the Neenah. So a field goal attempt coming up, and that will be what 34-yarder, 35-yarder.
Is that Miles Christensen, who's the kicker, senior? Yeah, that's going to be, a 35-yard field goal.
I'm going to call it a 35-yarder, yeah.
Blocked. Dean.
Was that Dean who got his hand in on it? Well, I think the Blue Jays got it. I think the Blue Jays got it back.
Boy.
I think the Rockets fell on it. They touched the football
and
they did not secure the football. And guess who comes up with it? The kicker, Miles Christensen, scoops it up, and it's the Blue Jays football again. So a special teams mistake after that blocked field goal attempt. Looked like the Rockets, I didn't see who tried to fall on it, but just didn't secure it along that sideline. It stayed in bounds, and Christensen comes up with it. Ball inside the 15 at the 13-yard line.
Ball will be at the 18. Brett, that's I don't know if I've seen that before.
Do you call that a turnover?
That's where we would need the help of Ken, the official.
Yes.
That would really help. First down and 10 from the 18, though. Boy, new life for the Menasha offense. Brett, they've dominated this entire first quarter.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of just keeping that Neenah offense off the field. Good job by Legal with the low snap.
Is that the final play of the quarter?
I believe that was Tamulian again, number 92, looking like Reggie White wearing that number 92. Scoreless first quarter here at Calder Stadium. We look at our Cellcom, Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard. Couple big mistakes by the Rockets. The fumble and then the block. They had the blocked field goal but didn't secure the football.
Got a late score in Kaukauna and West Appear. They played a little earlier tonight. I want to say at 5. 25-22, Kaukauna leading West Appear. That's a big win for the Ghost, Brett. Under 30 seconds left in the fourth if they can finish that out.
Wow. That is. We saw West Appear last week against Hortonville, Duke Chauvald. You know, he was out of the game, though, too. He left the game with a little bit of an injury, and then Coach Greisen, his son, I think it was Patrick Greisen, came in at quarterback. Tinkers to Chance at Badger Banker saying, I'm pretty sure they stole the tie-dye shirts from at Appleton East last Friday night.
Okay.
Hank DeWild wants to know, Grant Dean, 3.5 TDs. Are you going over or under? Well, it's probably too late for me to make that bet now. But so far, so good if you're the Blue Jays defense. And the Blue Jays offense, like you said, Ricardo, as we start the second quarter, keeping themselves on the field and that Neenah offense off of it.
And Brett, Neenah ran 4 total plays in the first quarter.
And the last being a fumble. So second down for Legal as we start the second quarter. And, well, I'm not sure what happened there. That looked like a busted play. Not much going on there at all.
Yeah, he faked it, and there was no one there to fake it to.
Taywan Rich, number 92, having a big start as well as number 70, Hudson Tumulian. Rich, you see number 92 in the inside, or no, I'm sorry, so he's on the edge there. As Legal just overshot his attended receiver, Quinn Ludvigsen.
Boy, you're really struggling with that.
I can't say that name.
Let me tell you, that was a good idea. I think he had Ludvigsen where he wanted him, just overthrew the pass a little bit. And now you try another field goal, Brett.
I think you have to, right?
Be a 30-yard field goal or so.
Got another tweet. The tie-dye shirts were made by Carson Miller's uncle. Carson Miller, number 3, a junior running back. Tie-dye vibes on Facebook.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
we appreciate
Marla.
Yeah,
appreciate
we
you
appreciate
checking in. We love getting the help.
We love getting interaction with the viewers.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, so they're going for it, huh, BC?
Interesting. 4th and 10. Legal going to stay out there at quarterback, and he's got time. Going to swing it over, and just nothing there. Right now in the passing game, just off target, right? A lot of high throws. So turnover on downs, a win for the Rockets twice. Didn't give up any points after that fumble. And then the miscue after the blocked field goal attempt. Great field position twice for the Blue Jays, coming up empty. So that Rockets sideline figuring that's a big win for us. You know, Jeremy Korth and his crew, boy, these are golden opportunities that we're missing right now.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So second series, we're in the second quarter. Only the second offensive series for the Rockets. Direct snap to Dean, looking for some space. And he's got a first down as he plunges towards the 25-yard line. And we saw that a bunch when Van Beek came in last week against De Pere. Just using that direct snap to Dean and that big offensive line. Creating some space for the speedy running back. So 1st and 10 now for the Rockets. Again, direct snap to Dean, looking for something. Not a whole lot there, and looks like number 44, one of the guys to bring down Dean. Cole Calkins, Ricardo, senior defensive lineman, and one of your Elite 11.
Yes, outstanding defensive lineman for Menasha.
Got 2 Elite 11s playing tonight. In fact, I think all 4 of our games so far to start the season have featured Elite 11 players.
That's right, Luke Keller, tight end fullback for Neenah, also a top senior to watch.
Yeah, number 83. Does a good job in the blocking game. There's going to be a handoff to Dean. And, boy, it's going to be tough sledding going against that Menasha defense when it comes to the running game. So 3rd down now coming up.
Yeah, 3rd and 4? Menasha's pretty stout defensive line there.
3rd and 4. 99th meeting. Longtime rivals back in the 1800s when Ricardo was around. That's when this first kicked off. 1896. What was the weather like that day?
All I know, there wasn't indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Oh, boy, Dean just about got through. Jonathan Younger was able to bring Dean down. Younger's not there, and Dean's right now probably reaching the end zone and celebrating a touchdown. So good job by Dean to get the first down, but just as impressive, Younger wrapping up and preventing a touchdown run. Thought he was gone for a second. Nice crowd here at both sides. A lot of red across the way. Brand new press box here across the way at Calder Stadium. So 2 press boxes to accommodate some of those larger games like tonight. And you know Calder Stadium will be a playoff site as well. It's Van Beek looking for some running room. And I think that's, let's see who got in on the tackle. Number 8, Miles Christensen.
Gain of 3 yards. They get 7 and 7.
But a nice addition. The existing press box here, if people care, very older, tight booths. So they definitely needed the space, and that's going to help them when it does come to some of these bigger games. Or, for instance, like last year's state semifinal, I know they could have used the space for all the media interest in that Kimberly Bayport game. Play fake, Van Beek all to the time, and going downfield, and it's caught by Keller. Boy, that offensive line, Ricardo, gave Van Beek all the time, and that's the threat of Grant Dean, right? You do a little play action. They got to honor him because he's so good. Defense freezes a little bit, gives Van Beek time, and Keller wins that one-on-one battle down the field.
Yeah, and if you're the Menasha defense, you can't have that. A quarterback's going to pick you apart given that much time to scan the field, go through his first, second, third reads, and then go through them basically again. And able to find Keller, Brett, 28-yard pass play for the Rockets.
Keller, 6'3", 215 pounds, big kid. One of Ricardo's elite 11s. Now Dean has a little hurdle move, using kind of that track skills that he has, part of that state championship 1600 relay team from this past spring. Of course, there's no hurdling in the 1600 relay, but I'm sure the track coach is thinking, let's put him in the 300 hurdles now, huh?
I have 48 yards on 9 carries for Dean thus far. Brings up a 2nd and 1 at the 16. Nice drive put together by the Rockets. Brett started all the way back at the 13.
2nd and 1 now for Van Beek and the Rockets. A little play fake again, and Van Beek, a lot of space, cuts it outside, and he's in for the touchdown. 16-yard run by Van Beek.
I think that fake inside got everyone on Menasha looking inside. Van Beek, the freshman.
Liam Wasco out for the PAT. And the PAT is good. So first score of the night goes to the Rockets as we look at our Cellcom and Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard. 7:01 to play here in this second quarter. Neenah up 7-0. So there you see the threat twice by Grant Dean, Ricardo. The play fake to Dean led to that nice completion between Van Beek and Keller. And then again, they got to, kids coming off of a 5 rushing touchdown game, offensively 6 overall. So that defense is keying in on number 8. Again, little play fake to Dean, and Van Beek's got a whole lot of green turf in front of him. Makes a nice little move to get into the end zone on top of that. Roger Dodge, thank you. Kaukauna wins 25-22. Big win for the Ghosts. Taking down a team last year that made it to the state championship game and comes in, I think, ranked number 2, at least preseason. I didn't check the Division 2 state poll this week, but I know the Phantoms rated quite high in Division 2. I'd imagine that's going to move the Ghosts up pretty high.
Yeah, anytime you get a big win over West of here.
When will the I know I ask this every week.
Well,
you know what I'm going
to
ask,
had the top
right?
5 teams to look at this past week, or I should say last week, and then the rankings will be coming out, the new ones, reformulated, looked at early next week.
The AP rankings?
Oh, AP rankings? Yeah, I think they
out?
should be coming out very soon, either next week or the week after.
All righty. Schwarzkopf with the return. Nice return for the Blue Jays. And now
Brett,
Let's see how Menasha can answer.
I thought you were talking about my rankings.
Well, you know, your rankings. Those are the golden rankings, of course. That's all we care about.
That's right. That's good that you say that, Brett. I need my confidence is waning.
There you can see, you look to the left here, one of those houses. They're sitting out in their driveway, their garage, enjoying the beautiful late summer evening, taking in some high school football. There's Rosie's got a good look at the guys, enjoying some football. You know what they should be doing is they should be watching the coverage on their phone.
That's
our
true.
coverage, our live stream coverage, along with just kind of hanging out in the driveway.
Why don't you walk over and tell them that?
Yeah, well, it's too far. Too far of a walk. And nope, legal swings it. Whoa, that's going to be a face mask. Yep.
I don't know why he's so happy. I mean, he clearly pulled him down by his face mask.
Will Radiz, the senior linebacker. That's probably just adrenaline right there, and that's a face mask. I have to think that's going to be.
That's got to be a 15-yard when he dragged him right down. I don't think there's there is 5 and 15-yard variety actually.
That'll be a personal foul. 15-yard face mask. That's the right call, no doubt about it. Ken, the official now, who used to help us watching these streams, he is actually back to being an official, right?
Well, I think he was thinking of doing that. I'm not sure if that's what he's decided on.
Okay.
But I know he was contemplating it.
Okay.
They need it. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a referee shortage. That's why there's so many games on Thursday.
Well, Ricardo, yeah, and we were seeing that trend even pre-Labor Day, right? So you could have still enjoy those long summer weekends, and people could get up to their cottages, you know, that sort of thing. But Rosie, again, pointing out that this was the same crew that we saw last night in Kimberly doing back-to-back games Thursday and Friday nights.
1st and 10 at the 44. Legal.
Yep, Schwarzkopf wide open and a nice throw across the field. That's a first down. And we thank the officials for working hard. They did a good job last night, doing a good job here tonight. It's a thankless job. You know, they're doing it for the love of the game. So don't be so crabby to them. I couldn't do it.
I noticed that Schwarzkopf, he was a top returning receiver for Menasha. He wasn't in the stat line for their game against Appleton East last week. They were getting a lot of other receivers in the game, but good to see him back out there.
Yeah.
He's an explosive weapon for Menasha. 1st and 10, 40 at the 46 of Neenah as we have a official's timeout. Is it a trying to see what the delay is?
Well, that's a good point, Ricardo, because perhaps the biggest storyline for Menasha entering this season, how is it going to replace 3-year starter at quarterback A.J. Korth, right? Led the team last year both passing and rushing. Passed for 1,374 yards, rushed for 1,208 yards. He was the FRCC South Offensive Player of the Year. Also threw for 23 touchdowns, rushed for 11 more. But, as you pointed out, helping ease that transition to a new signal caller, 3 top receivers back in Ty Schwarzkopf, Parker Winan, and John Younger. So that's nice for a kid, a junior in Logan Legal, to have some guys that have been there who can kind of calm you down a little bit. I'm sure they've worked hard in the offseason, in the summer, to develop a chemistry, and so far so good. Those 3 guys last year accounted for nearly 900 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns. And Weinert and Younger last week combined for 7 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown against Appleton East. Korth, by the way, playing collegiately now at UW Oshkosh. But it's nice for a new quarterback to come on in. I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, they had to reset the clock. Okay, change the play clock. But nice for a kid like Legal to have those types of receivers. Yeah, and the Rockets now going to call a timeout.
This has been a whole big old mess, Rosie. What's going on out there? Rosie just throws his hands up.
Gives me an opportunity to talk about our Week 3 Varsity Game of the Week live stream. We're going to be at Fond du Lac, going down to Fondy as the Cardinals host Appleton North Fox Valley Association matchup. That's next Thursday. We'll get to check out the new field at Fond du Lac High School. Live coverage will kick off at 6:45 p.m., and you can access our previous Game of the Week live streams on any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites. Just go to the sports section and scroll down until you see the Watch Our Varsity Game of the Week Prep live streams link. Just one game next week, a Thursday night game, no Friday night game for us. And then we'll go back into that regular Friday night rotation. The first 2 weeks we've done 2 games apiece. We've got a really good start as far as great matchups here on Thursdays and Friday nights. Holiday week next week. We need to also start kind of get ready for our Clubhouse Live show. Don't leave folks at halftime. I want to talk about who our Packers co-hosts will be. Packers player co-hosts. We've made that announcement. A brand new venue as well. If you haven't heard about it, you're going to love the venue, and you're going to love to check out our co-hosts, and should be another fun season of Clubhouse Live. So here we go after the timeout. Legal, 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays, and playing some football again. But he's got time, going to go deep downfield. He's got it. Schwartzkopf, and he's open. And Schwartzkopf finally brought down maybe the 2. Beautiful throw. Schwartzkopf got behind the defense. Legal had time, stepped into that throw, and delivered a beautiful rainbow to Schwartzkopf, who made a nice catch. And the 2 are celebrating right now.
Yeah, 52-yard connection, Brett. Brings up a first down, goal to goal from the 2. This is Menasha's, second trip inside the 10.
Some of the issues we saw last week in that pass defense for the Rockets against De Pere, seen it again. But a beautiful ball to Schwartzkopf and a beautiful catch. 1st and goal at the 2.
I should say it's their second time in the 13. Their last drive ended at the 13.
So one of those veteran receivers we were just talking about. Legal trusting his receiver to make a play. Schwartzkopf does just that. Legal trying to sneak his way in. Big old scrum.
Flag on the far side by the far side official.
Will that be an offsides potentially? And nope, procedure call, and that's going to back up the Blue Jays 5 yards. And Jeremy Korth not too pleased as he's making it known to his guys along the sideline.
This makes it much more difficult against this Neenah defense, Brett. Menasha's running offense has been, it's struggled, let's just say.
And now you're backing up 5 more yards, so you're right at the goal line now, not so much. And Van Beek, check that, Legal. A little bit more work to do as he waits for the snap. He's kind of got that option look and not a whole lot there. Looks like number 9, one of the first ones there, Aiden Carey, a senior inside linebacker, bringing down Legal.
Second down, goal to goal from the 6. Again, that procedure penalty really kind of hurt the Blue Jays here.
Schwartzkopf last year, first team all-conference honors last season. Also returning for the Blue Jays, versatile Ty Carlson, a unanimous first team all-FRCC South selection a year ago at defensive back. Talk about your Elite 11 player Cole Calkins here in a minute as well. And we're going to get a 3rd down there. There is just no running room. That was number 24, Elijah Geigel, and a big 3rd down coming up. But Calkins also returning, Ricardo. He was unanimous first team all-conference at defensive end. 42 tackles, including 15 for a loss and 5 sacks. I can see why he was one of your Elite 11 candidates.
Geigel, 7 carries, 7 yards, Brett. So you can tell how tough it's been for him to run in between the tackles against this Neenah run defense.
Well, ball inside the 5, now at the 4. Is this 4-down territory? Whoa, low snap, good job. Again, look at that option pitch. Nothing there. Nothing there at all.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of options this close to the goal line.
Jeremiah Zank getting that option pitch. And now 4th down coming up, decision time for Jeremy Korth. He's talking to Legal, and I think he's going to go for it again. Maybe take the points, huh?
Well, I think he's maybe a little spooked from the last time they tried a field goal. It was blocked. They're going to talk about this, so it appears. Timeout, Menasha. see what else we have in terms of local scores.
Yeah, while you do that, I'll tell everybody about our digital subscription deal with Postgres and any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin sites. For the next 6 months, you get all the benefits included with a digital subscription for just $1. Full access on your desktop, tablet, mobile devices every day. Exclusive subscriber newsletters. Full access to national reporting with the USA Today Sports Plus app. The e-edition is included as well. That's a digital replica is what I'm trying to say of the print edition.
Oh.
So just go to postcrescent.com, any of our sites, .com/subscribe. 6 months, $1. That'll take you through pretty much the entire high school sports season. So if you're sports fans, you can get all this great coverage for just $1 for the next 6 months.
Hey, Brett, they're in a lightning delay in New London as Little Chute leads the Bulldogs 7-0.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
So what did you say, Digita?
Digita.
That could be like plural for many digital entities. A Digita? Did you just make? Let's call up Merriam-Webster.
I created a new word.
Yeah. Why not, right? It's a technical age, digital age.
Well, 4th down. Offense on the field here as we get ready.
So the 4th and goal from just outside the 5-yard line.
Oh, Legal just about squeezed his way in, but he was stopped. Looked like maybe number 20, one of the guys in, Joe Drawnick, and Legal stopped. And Rosie, I hope you brought some rain gear, because I think we're going to get some rain. Not a ton, but I think we're going to get some rain.
Rosie loves the rain. I was hoping we would escape it.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was going to stay north, but we'll see. Van Beek handoff to Dean, looking for some yardage, and stood up at about the 8-yard line. We'll see. It might skirt past us. The radar didn't look too promising, though.
Ten carries, 51 yards I have for Grant Dean. So one thing you give the Menasha defense credit, Brett, they're not allowing any of those big explosive Dean plays.
Van Beek, kind of a little spin move on that handoff. Kind of a risky little play. Looked like Collins with the carry, so 3rd down coming up. Late stages of this second quarter. So 3rd and 1. And Dean has more than enough running room down to about the 25-yard line. I think they'll spot him at the 24 with 2:02 to play in the second quarter. Right now, Ricardo, Rockets in no hurry as the clock continues to run.
That is true. I'll tell you what, Brett, and I'll show you the plays here of both these teams.
Van Beek claps his hands, little play fake. Now he's going to fire it over the middle, and he's got the completion to Briones, who was open over the middle of the field. Briones doing some work on the defensive side as an outside linebacker. There's that 6'2" frame coming into play as a tight end. And a connection now between Van Beek, the freshman, and a couple tight ends. We saw Keller with a big catch, now Briones over the middle.
Yeah, that's a 26-yard completion for Van Beek. Again, using your upperclassmen to help you out a little bit.
Ball at the 50, right at midfield.
First and 10, right at the 50, as Brett said. There's Dean.
Yeah, direct
Oh,
snap. Oh,
boy.
boy. Oh, boy. Far sideline. Grant Dean, 50-yard touchdown sprint to the end zone.
Well, you saw, Brett, right when he made that little move, kicking it to the outside, that, boy, there was so much green in front of him. I didn't know anybody was going to be able to catch him.
And I guess there was a method to that madness of taking their sweet old time and letting that clock run, because Dean's 50-yarder, 48.7 seconds to go, as Liam Wasco now out for the PAT. But you're right. Once he got through that second level, it was off to the races, and you're not going to catch Grant Dean. Oh, bad snap. Wasco picks it up, just falls down. So no PAT there. And as we look at our Cellcom, Coonies, Embroidery, and Sportswear scoreboard with 48.7 seconds to go in this second quarter, 13-0 is the lead for the Rockets.
That also makes that doubly, hurtful in terms of not being able to score twice in the red zone for Menasha. You're looking at maybe a 13-14. You're still ahead 14-13. Now you're down 13-0.
They've had opportunities, without a doubt.
Brett, I was going to show you, if you take a look at Menasha's, play series. I mean, they've in terms of offensive plays probably have doubled up Neenah, and but nothing to show for it.
Rain starting to fall here at Calder Stadium. There's a good look, Rosie. Rosie, you dry down there? That rain not coming in, is it? Just going straight down? Sorry for the technical stuff, but we're a little worried about the equipment. Yeah, Rosie, move all that that electrical stuff. A light rain so far. I don't think it's not like a big batch of rain coming through, but maybe we get this to pass through, and we can have a second half uninterrupted. Firefighters don't care. Kickoff to, Schwarzkopf bobbles it at the goal line, and he's off. Let's see what he can pick up. Not much there. Past the 15, maybe 17, 18-yard line, and with 43.4 seconds to go, we'll see how Jeremy Korth wants to play this. Will he be aggressive or let this run out, go into the locker room, regroup, and see if you can chip away at that 13-0 deficit? Supposed to be a beautiful weekend, though, coming up, Ricardo. Very cool. Northeast Wisconsin as well.
That's good news.
Yeah. Been a little hot stretch. Boy, I don't know about your yard, but my yard's taken a beating this summer with such limited rain. Although I do have to fire up the lawnmower tomorrow, get that lawn cut at some point.
That lawn work was done today. My neck of the woods.
Well, Legal now back out. And he's just going to keep it, look for something. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Number 33, one of the first ones in, the first one in, Cole Fensky, the junior linebacker, bringing down Logan Legal. And I have to think, Ricardo, you just can maybe just let that clock run out, right? Go in the locker room and see how you can chip away at that that deficit. The game started. Who got the ball to start this game?
I believe it was Menasha.
Okay, so Neenah's going to come out, and so Menasha started. That's right. Neenah then took over and fumbled, and so Neenah's going to start the second half with the football up a couple scores. There's the siren to indicate halftime, and a little rainy evening. Hopefully it doesn't last too long as we look at our Cellcom, Coonies, Embroidery, and Sportswear scoreboard. We're at the half at Calder Stadium. The Rockets with a 13-0 lead. Don't go away, folks. We've got a lot to talk about, a whole bunch of Packer talk and high school football talk, high school volleyball talk. We did it all last night. We're going to do it again. Ricardo's got a very busy stretch coming up with some digital offerings. This terrific 10 now coming out. The Elite 11 already out. Varsity Roundtable going to be starting up. Our 920 Sports podcast. And now we are under a lightning delay at Calder Stadium. So maybe, Rosie, you just want to kind of keep it on one shot and get your tail in here. And I don't know if you want to start trying to figure out. We're not going to go anywhere. We'll just keep it live, and we'll just try to fill as much time as we can. But we are now under a lightning delay at Calder Stadium. I don't think it's, again, a real big storm cell coming through, but they are asking folks to exit the bleachers section.
By the way, there's a weather delay in Seymour as well. Brett, Freedom leading Seymour 3-0.
Okay.
That's in the first half.
This reminds me, this happened to us, was that a couple years ago when we were at Hortonville, and the game never resumed until the next day.
Again, halftime here, Menasha and Neenah. Neenah leads 13-0 over the Blue Jays. That's 99th meeting between the two schools. Also in a lightning delay. So I wonder how that goes. Does it go concurrently with the halftime, or is it the halftime, then you got to wait another 15 minutes?
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And a quick first half might end up being a longer night for us, which is fine.
We get paid by the hour.
Well, hopefully it won't last too long. Rosie doing his work to try to protect the cameras as best he can. But well, yeah, that's just Rosie's hand, everybody.
Yeah, don't get worried. It's not Godzilla. It's not Godzilla. It's just Rosie's hand.
Well, it gives us an opportunity to kind of talk about what's coming up. Clubhouse Live. Very proud of that show. Or season 15 coming up. That's our weekly Green Bay Packers show that kicks off September 4th. This year's Packers player co-host will be All-Pro return man Keyshawn Nixon and veteran tight end / fullback, I think he's more fullback than anything, Josiah DeGuara. And those guys will bring teammate guests on throughout the season. September 4th is our opening show, as I said, and we will have a special guest to be announced. And the new venue. We're moving to a new venue. It will be the Fox Club at Neuroscience Group Field at Fox City Stadium in Grand Chute, home of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. So a beautiful space, very spacious, great sight lines. Looking forward to that setup. The Timber Rattlers have been great to work with, and they're going to have elevated and traditional ballpark fare, concessions, tailgate type stuff, burgers, brats, hot dogs, all that good stuff on top of more of the elevated stuff and food and drink. So definitely come out. Doors are open at 4. Admission is free, first come, first seated. And then enjoy some Packers talk. It's not an X's and O's show. It's more of an entertainment show, but we will talk football as well. But expect a lot of laughs. We'll have some giveaways, some Packers tickets giveaways, signed photos, all that good stuff. And the guys will bring teammate guests throughout the week. Nixon and DeGuara will join us on September 11th, and then they'll start alternating weeks throughout the rest of the season. And who knows? I know rumor has it, Ricardo, that Josiah DeGuara is very, very good friends with the starting quarterback, number 10, Jordan Love.
Well, we hope that's the case, so we can have Mr. Love on the show. He's been on our show before.
Yeah, a few times now, and we have a good relationship with him. So I fully expect that we can get Love on the show, and hopefully he plays good football. Looks good so far in the preseason. And the Packers take on Ricardo's Bears in Week 1, so that's a great matchup between the Packers and Love and the Bears and Justin Fields, and we'll see how that goes. But looking forward to another season. I co-host the show. Ricardo, as a Bears fan, does as well. Rosie's part of the production crew and You can, if you can't make it to a show in person, you can always watch it on any of our platforms, our websites, our Facebook pages. That includes Packers News Facebook page, our USA Today Network with Wisconsin YouTube channel. So multiple ways to watch Clubhouse Live. Definitely want to give that a look.
You know, Brett, we were talking about the Elite 11 earlier in the live stream, and we do have 2 players on that team on the field in the first half. Both of them making a play here and there. For Menasha, it was Cole Calkins, their defensive lineman. He's on the team along with Neenah's tight end Luke Keller, making a big catch also as well. Here are some of the other players that are on the Elite 11. By the way, you can check this out on postcrescent.com. Go under the Sports and Varsity tab. Just click on those. Scroll down a little bit, and you should see the Elite 11. It's a digital showcase put together by Jim Rosandick. You know him as Rosie. And it's obviously one of the things we really look forward to every year. Here are the players on there. Appleton North linebacker, tight end Brock Arndt. And again, we'll see him next week at Fond du Lac as the Lightning take on the Cardinals down in Fond du Lac. Xavier free safety Tyler Brightman. He of 8 interceptions last year. And I don't know why I just did that. Okay, here we go, back. We talked about Cole Calkins, but then a quarterback who's been having a pretty solid start to the season, Finley Doriel. The Ghosts are 2-0 this year. He's their starting quarterback, a 3-year starting quarterback, one of our Elite 11. Bayport's Landon Gauthier. Now, he was dressed last night in the loss to Kimberly, but he did not play, not that I can think of. I did not see him on the field.
Nope.
So he's one of the top-rated linebackers in the state. So expecting big things from him, hopefully if he's healthy the rest of the way. We talked about Luke Keller, Neenah tight end. Ethan Matthey, Winnicott running back. They have the big game against Amarillo tonight, Brett. The China Bowl game. Kimberly's Sam McGivern, Kimberly defensive end. He's on the team and heading to Yale. He had the big final defensive play there, Brett. Last night's game had the big sack. And I forgot the Bayport's quarterback already.
Carter Calise.
Calise to thwart that drive. Clintonville's Cade Rosenau threw 32 touchdowns last season. He's on the team. West De Pere's Duke Chauvold. West De Pere quarterback. And then Hortonville's Miles Silas, a linebacker. And this kid, Brett, he already has Division I offers from Minnesota, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Iowa State. I'm sure he'll get a bunch more as those colleges are aware of him and his athletic potential on the defensive side of the football. That's your Elite 11. Also coming out soon, and Jim Rosendick's putting this together, he's working hard on it, is our girls volleyball team, the Terrific 10. Obviously, our Fox Valley has some of the best talent that you'll ever find when it comes to girls volleyball. A lot of Division I players each year that we showcase. That's coming out soon. I want to say next week, right, Rosie? You're hard at work doing that Terrific 10. Here are the girls on the team. I'm going to release them now because I'm already promoting them on TikTok. By the way, TikTok Varsity Roundtable, at Varsity Roundtable, if you want to follow it, follow the TikTok account there. We have several area girls, a lot, mostly from the Appleton Post Crescent coverage area, but we do have 2 from the Green Bay area. Starting off with Fox Valley Lutheran's Emma Nielsen, also Notre Dame's Hannah Greisen, Xavier's Matea Kuipert, also for the Xavier Hawks, Belle Shea. Again, Xavier, the defending WI Division II state champs. Brett, they returned the entire team from last year's championship squad.
I'm going to say they're the favorites to win it
yes,
again.
I would agree. Appleton North, always one of the top Division I programs in the state. They have 2 girls on the team, Emerson Van Lannen, and then Ella Demetrician, who, by the way, Ella, the #1 ranked senior in the state. She's going to the University of Michigan. All these girls are going Division I, by the way, Brett.
Wow.
Fox Valley Lutheran's Annalise Patchett, Luxembourg Casco's Brooke Vandehei, and then Hortonville Polar Bears' Marin Grossman, and St. Mary Catholic's Lauren Fisher. Those are the Terrific 10 girls. Again, Brett, I don't know, Rosie, looks like he has it up there. Are you going to showcase that logo real quick, Rosie? Rosie's going to put it in front of the camera.
There it is.
There they are right there. That's the Terrific 10, if you can see them, being released early next week.
There
the top
it is, right
senior
there.
girls volleyball players. We're really proud of the girls. They came in, did a great job with their green screen captures. So did the guys, too, with the Elite 11 football team. So that's the digital showcase that we do in the fall. Brett, remember, and Rosie, we're only a couple months away from this. We got the Fab Five boys and girls coming up in November as well.
Listen, you usually get on my case for
do.
talking football or basketball. this early in the season. I've been trying to be good about it. You're the one who brought it up first this time.
Well, yeah, and Brett, I have a couple more things to go through if you don't mind.
Please, yes.
Look, we have the Varsity Roundtable starting up on September 6th. That's our online high school sports talk show. We have a couple teams I've already talked to that are itching to get on the show, get on the roundtable. A little bit of a new setup, right, Rose? I think we're going to decide to kind of have it more of an audience feel with the way we're setting up the seating. Have it more directly in front of where I am in the roundtable couch, where the student athletes are talking with me. So that's starting up again September 6th, and each week we'll have a prominent team, I should say, because you got to be a successful team, Brett, to be on the roundtable. We just can't take anybody. You got to be doing something and doing something well to be on the roundtable. I just saw some lightning, and I don't think anybody's too happy seeing that.
That looks more. Is that north of here, maybe a touch north? Yeah.
And then, Brett, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our podcast.
Yeah,
920 Podcast.
920 Sports.
920 Sports.
Yeah.
The 920 Sports Podcast. We've been rebranding. It used to be the R&B show. Rebranding it. Rosie, I'll throw that on your plate again. To make a 920 Podcast logo or something. I'm not sure how you're going to do it. You're the creative one. That's why they pay you the big bucks. So, so we're going to be starting that up very soon. Hopefully that week of September 6th, Brett, we can get going on that. And we're going to talk about not just high school sports. We might welcome back some retired coaches, some players who are at the collegiate level, talking about their experience playing college sports, and also, just big topics on the day. Big topics that are affecting the sports world. We might dabble a little bit of college. We're going to dabble a little bit into the pro realm as well with the Packers, things like that. It's Rosie. That's what we have coming up. That's what we have right where we are.
I'm hoping that that orange, red, yellow stuff maybe misses us to the south. Okay, it's going to go right over us, but it won't last very long.
Perfect.
At least it's not a big old, a big batch of rain coming. It's just a small cell coming through.
But then, like Brett pointed out, a lot of open air then after that, so we don't have to worry about the storms for too long.
But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up, and don't forget Clubhouse Live. Going back to that, we're going to also talk high school sports, or at least recognize different teams as part of our high school team of the week. We'll have football players, volleyball players, cross country teams, just kind of a mix and match of a whole bunch of different athletes and coaches, and their parents will be invited to the show as well. So definitely looking forward to that.
Again, here in a lightning delay, weather delay, to be more general about it.
Give us a chance. So, we kind of laid down the high school stuff, and I'll lay down quickly run down the scoring. Both touchdowns scored by the Rockets in the second quarter. Ashton Van Beek, a 16-yard touchdown run with 7:01 to play in the quarter. Liam Wasco's kick sailed through, made it 7-0 Neenah. And then Grant Dean, we just saw right at the end of the half, a 50-yard touchdown sprint into the end zone. Kick failed on a bad snap. That was scored at 48.7 seconds to play. And as you can see in our Cellcom Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard, 13-0 Rockets with the lead. It is halftime. We did reach halftime before the delay hit. So perfect timing in that sense. And now we just have to wait out this little storm that's coming through and the lightning. And hopefully the second half, like you said, Ricardo, will kind of clear out here in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. It'll be past us. Get everybody back in the stands and playing some football. But let's maybe give them a little preview of the folks that are still kind of hanging out there with us, what I almost said the R&B show, the 920 Sports podcast. I'm even having a hard time with the rebranding. That's because there's a link on our postcrescent.com is Go920. What's kind of a life and entertainment content. But 920 Sports, maybe we want to talk a little bit about the upcoming football season and maybe your thoughts on the Bears and the Packers in Week 1. I know you've been following along. Maybe you can give the Packers fans out there a little sneak peek on what to potentially expect out of Justin Fields and the hapless Chicago Bears.
I wouldn't say they're hapless. There's nowhere to go but up for the Bears, Brett. They're 3-14 last year, and I love how Packer fans love to point out that the Vikings were 8-0 or 9-0 or whatever in one-score games. The Bears were 1-8.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to even out. That's not going to happen again. At the very least, you're looking at a team that hopefully I'm going to guess is going to be in the talk, in the mix anyway, for a possible 7th wild card spot, something like that. I just don't. I can't see them being 1-8 again in one-score games. We're talking about they had 8 losses by 6 points or fewer. So even though they were a 3-14 team, it's not like they were getting blown out. Believe me, I know what blown out looks like. That one year where they got blown out 55 to something against the Packers, that was a bad team. Yet last year's team was a struggling team. They've had a lot of turnover. My expectations are a little bit raised, I guess, for that way. And you would like to see development from Mr. Young Fields. Same thing with the Packers. You want to see development from young Mr. Love. So that's why I think, and I was just having this discussion with some folks I had lunch with today about Love. I think Love is, as long as he's a competent quarterback, they're going to be in the mix for a wild card because the team around Love is capable, right? You would assume that because he has young, talented receivers, tight end's a little bit of a question mark. I know there's a lot of talent there, but that's still a question mark anytime you have 2 rookies playing a lot of snaps. The defense, you're expecting to be solid.
A lot of veterans on that defensive side.
They better be solid because they put a lot of resources into that defense, Brett. That's why I say, I could see the Packers maybe having an outside shot at the division. To me, the division is very winnable for all 4 teams, right? The Lions, come on. You really going to think the Lions are going to have 12, 13 wins?
They got to prove it.
Yeah, they got to prove it. And each year the Lions do the Lions thing, right? They're very Lionsy.
Remember, they started out like the Lions last year. What, they were like 1-6?
Yes.
Then caught fire.
They did catch fire. And they won a lot of close games, too, if you guys remember right. So I think this division is up for grabs. It might come down to who's the healthiest at the end of the year, to really be honest.
It's interesting to see some of these talking heads and Aaron Rodgers leaves and the Packers go from a playoff team to basically an afterthought. And like you said, I think, boy, it's not like they're completely blowing it up and rebuilding. They're going youth. They've been kind of adding some of that youth along with Rodgers, but it was the right move. But you got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. You got a kind of a veteran offensive line. And what we're not seeing out of the Packers in the preseason is a commitment to the run game because they're trying to get Jordan Love and those young receivers in a rhythm and game action right before it becomes real in week 1. So you're going to see more of a reliance on that running game anyway, set up that play action, and maybe like a Luke Musgrave. He's got a nice connection with Jordan Love, and so does Romeo Doubs as well.
Well, I think the run game's going to take a little hit.
Do you?
First off, they lose Mercedes Lewis. Right?
Yeah, but the guy's almost 40 years old.
I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Okay.
They lose Alan Lazard, and say what you will about him getting that money. Is he worth that much? You can't dispute that he was a very, very good run blocker out there on the perimeter. So you lose those 2 guys, and then you have 2 rookies. I know this Tucker Kraft's supposed to be a good blocking. You're talking about 2 rookies out there, and your run game is supposed to function the same way. I'm not buying it. I think they might take a little bit of a hit in the run game. How much of that's offset by Love and the passing game, that's going to determine how they're going to finish. So I think there's still some question marks with Green Bay. It's not as bad as the doomsayers are saying, though, Brett. I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, and Love has looked very impressive. He's going to make mistakes, and anybody who's expecting Jordan Love to play like Aaron Rodgers, it's just not going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is a one-of-a-kind quarterback when you look at touchdown to interception ratio. One guy's done that in the history of the game. Jordan Love's going to throw some interceptions this year, like most quarterbacks tend to do.
Our Packer fans can be able to handle that.
Can they handle that after seeing Aaron Rodgers under center for 15 seasons? They're going to have to. They should be used to the guy that preceded Aaron Rodgers, number 4, Brett Favre, threw a lot of interceptions.
Gone are the days where that's acceptable, right? I mean, really. Who's the last guy who – Jameis Winston? He threw 30 picks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few years ago, but he also threw 30-something touchdowns. Those days are long gone, and I don't think he's in a camp this year. So, you want low number of mistakes, and that's something, what if Jordan throws 15, 16 interceptions? That's now seen as a bad year for a quarterback.
Then you hope, though, the 2-to-1 ratio is really what you want, right? So then you hope he's got 28, 29, 30 touchdown passes. That might be asking too much, but I just think he'll make some mistakes. This offense will make some mistakes, but they're going to have some big moments, too, because there's a lot of talent. And I've been impressed with he's got command. He looks very confident out there. And stands to reason, right? You've been studying for 3 years. It's not like he was thrown into the fire, right, as a rookie that you see some of these poor quarterbacks they get thrown into right out of college. They're not ready for the pro game, and then they just fizzle out. He's had, much like Aaron Rodgers did before him, he's had 3 years to kind of, get a mastery of this offense. You're going to see more of a true Matt LaFleur offense, not that hybrid stuff that Aaron Rodgers would like to run. And I think he's going to be I think he's pretty good. He's athletic. He's got a big arm. He's got a lot of talent, and I think he's got command of this offense and those young receivers. There's some talent there too. Dobbs looks like he's poised for a breakout year, and then of course Watson's a threat anytime he touches it. Jaden Reed, the rookie, as a slot receiver, has got good hands. Looks like he could do something as well. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out. The big wild card for me, the X factor, is that defense. That defense needs to play a lot better. They need to play much more aggressive. You can't play that soft nonsense, 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards off these receivers when they need 3rd and 3. And the quarterback's a pitch and catch, and they just diagnose who they want to throw to. You got to get up there and play physical. And I think Joe Barry's adjusting to that a little bit. I'm sure there was a few heart-to-hearts in the offseason between the coaching staff on how we can get this defense, which has a lot of talent, a lot of first-round talent, to play better than what it did.
Those are the words of Brett Christopherson. You have that to look forward to when we put together the 920 podcast coming up early next month.
Speaking of which, we got a tweet from our friend Hank DeWild. He said, "Is the 920 Sports Podcast named after the area code? If yes, explain what an area code is to the kids."
They know what it is.
It is 920. Of course, we'll branch out, but we'll hit most of the Fox Valley. Will be our focus, high school, pro, and as they said, Ricardo said we're going to get some guests on this year as well. Maybe I can get Mickey Crow on the show.
That'd be great.
Get him on the phone.
Yeah.
The great
No doubt about
legendary
that.
high school basketball player from the 1970s, still the second leading scorer in state history. I bet you Mickey would be willing to do that. But yes, an area code is, how do you explain it? Everybody knows what an area code is.
There's only so many phone numbers, and you got to throw another exchange number in there to make sure that everyone has enough. There's enough phone numbers to go around. I think Milwaukee just added a new area code, didn't they?
I
just
did
read
hear
somewhere
that.
where
Wasn't there talk that 920 might be broken up now too? I thought they were talking about adding
might
another
have to
area
do that.
code.
It's a growing area.
It's
There's only so many to go around.
Big time growing area, without a doubt. One of the biggest areas of the state. How about the Brewers up 5-0 over the Padres in the third? Brew Crew getting hot right at the right time. What happened to your St. Louis Cardinals?
Oh, I
this
knew
year?
they would be bad this year. I didn't think they'd bottom out quite like this, but they always do that though. They'll have 1 or 2 years where they bottom out, and then Brett, every other year they're contending. So that's what I'm expecting.
Looks like Rowdy Tellez with a 3-run home run tonight. Big Rowdy back at the DH spot. And Woodruff off to a nice start on the mound. 5 Ks through 3 innings. So the Brewers getting hot at the right time. Remember, they lost 3 straight, got swept by the Dodgers, and was, oh boy, here we go. Then they had a 3-set coming up against a really good Texas Rangers club, and go over to Arlington on a tough road trip from L.A. to Arlington and sweep the Rangers, and then come back and take 2 from the Twins. And now with a big weekend series against the Padres off to a great start, could go after their 6th straight win tonight. Not a good division. Not a good division overall.
No, but it's okay. You always want to be playing October baseball.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, a lot of people say, boy, you get Woodruff, Burns, and Peralta, that 3-pronged attack, and the pitching staff guys that when they're on, among the better hurlers in baseball, without a doubt. In a short series, you never know, anything could happen. But boy,
just get in.
You look at the Dodgers and the Braves and those bats. There is just no letting up 1 through 9 in those lines, especially the Braves. That's a powerful club.
That'd be kind of cool if the Brewers and the Braves were in a series, right? The old and the new.
Yeah, old Milwaukee Braves. Yeah. Thank you to at Where Is My TRX? SC Lee says, enjoying the coverage from South Texas. Thanks to you and your team for all you do. Go Rockets. Good memories of some classic battles at Calder in the mid-'80s in the old FVA. Rivals, but also great friends. We appreciate you watching from South Texas. Probably have a better night of weather than we're experiencing up here in northeast Wisconsin. If you're in South Texas, I'm wondering if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan now.
Oh, no.
San Antonio. There's my – now we're going to switch to
go.
NBA talk. That's my team
gosh.
With Victor Wembanyama, the first-round pick, now joining the Spurs. And you can just tell –
how tall is he again?
Is he like 7 – is he 7'4"? But has just tremendous skills, labeled as a can't-miss, and he's going to bring the dynasty back to San Antonio.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how he turns out.
Yeah, we don't need to talk NBA quite yet, but I've been to San Antonio, very nice city.
I've not been to San Antonio. I'd like to be there.
Oh, I think it's a little I think SC Lee has been battling some intense heat this summer. So it's kind of interesting. A lot of folks, I love the summer, but a lot of folks are kind of saying, with lack of rain, I'm ready for fall.
The briskness
They're
of
already
fall,
ready
huh?
for a little fall, and I just want to say, be careful what you wish for with Mother Nature, because she'll say, okay, you don't like the summer, well, how about this? Next thing you know, it's 40, 50 degrees, and we talk about it when we hit the states, quarterfinals, state semifinals. We'll stream those games in high school football. Here we are in short sleeves and shorts. By that time, we've had some ice cold state semifinal live streams. We are bundled up and
Yeah,
trying to get through those games.
A lot of those games at Titan Stadium, I remember. Those were even with the heaters on it, didn't do any good because we would always open the windows, right? So that was an experience, let's just say.
Sure was, and looking forward to that, though. That's always some big matchups, big games. Folks, we're in a lightning delay at Calder Stadium. We are at halftime, but a lightning delay. Looks like
I think we're expected to start.
Yeah, it looks like
15 minutes or so.
I think maybe we're just going to miss that big red blotch. I think it's going to go maybe just south of us, and then I think we can get going again here fairly soon. So they did clear the stadium because of lightning in the area. But we'll have a second half of football. We appreciate you hanging out with us here in Menasha, week 2. Next week will be Thursday night, Fond du Lac against Appleton North. Ricardo, I know you have a lot of history in Fond du Lac. You used to work at the Fond du Lac Reporter, and it's going to be different going to a Fond du Lac Cardinals game that isn't at Fruth Field.
And underwater.
Yeah.
So, look, and I loved Fruth Field. You're not going to find better aesthetic, especially, when the leaves are falling and the field is covered with leaves. It's just iconic, fall football in the state of Wisconsin. But there was no doubt that they needed a new field and a turf field more specifically.
Right.
And kudos to the Fond du Lac folks, the school board, for finally passing the resolution to get that turf field in, because it happened too many times where that field was underwater and really made things just terrible for the Fond du Lac football team. I know there was a couple times where they had to play on the road instead of at home because of the field, and now they have their own place to call home, and I'm very curious to see what they have out there on the east side of Fond du Lac where that new high school is. By the way, that new high school, I call it new, but it's been there for a little bit now. But that thing looks like a college. It's a big sprawling campus, and it made a whole lot of sense to have a brand new facility there for football and one with turf. And again, I keep telling this to everyone. It's not just for football. The band gets to practice on there. You get to hold Fayette classes out there, and not to mention the soccer team.
Track in the spring.
Track in the spring. Field hockey is now a sport, Brett.
Right.
So everyone's going to get a chance to use that field. It's multi-purpose. It just makes sense, and the upkeep, when you consider all things as minimal, and it's just a long time coming. So I'm glad to see Fond du Lac actually kind of catch up with the rest of the Fox Valley Association in that regard, because I think they were really lacking in that area.
Yeah, I agree. You've seen a lot of schools around here in this part of the state adding turf. Well, Neenah, the brand new school. You think about Neenah and Fond du Lac, 2 schools. Programs, very good football programs, but we're still playing on grass while everybody else in the FVA, I think, now has turf.
I think you're right.
That's it, right?
Yes.
Oshkosh plays at Titan Stadium, North and West, so Appleton West has turf, East has turf, North. So, yeah, I think everybody's got it. But you look at the Northeastern Conference, Little Chute just put in turf last year. Beautiful facility. They just redid their track now, too. It's a gorgeous facility
Good.
For kind of a mid-level school.
Let's not talk about Freedom. I've already said my piece on Freedom, and their antiquated facilities, in my opinion.
We look at the FRCC. I think that's what De Pere's got turf. West De Pere, Bayport, of course, Ashwaubenon does. So a lot of the schools, Green Bay East and West. I think they play at old East City Stadium. I think that has turf. So, and then you look at the Northeastern. I mentioned Little Chute. I would have to imagine at some point Wrightstown's going to put turf in. Luxembourg Casco probably is going to put turf in. FVL, I think those schools. Xavier, I would think so.
It makes
as
sense.
Well.
It just makes sense. It's so versatile, the field, the turf field, and
especially in this climate.
Yes.
Even I was talking to Rick Grable about that on Tuesday. The athletic director here. We're talking about the turf, and even in the fall when you're hosting a playoff game and it's a state semifinals, raining that night. You're not. It's not a mud bowl.
Yeah, it drains.
Yeah.
If it's done right, it should drain quite easily and not make it, as you said, Brett, a mud bowl or a big old blotches of like water and standing pools of water. You can't have that.
But you know, you can go, especially if it's on campus. You could have gym class out there. You know, you can use it for different activities. So yeah, it's not just a football field. It's a versatile field. And springtime too, as you mentioned, track. Now you don't have a muddy infield when you have events. So it just makes sense. In fact, even Little Chute has turf baseball field. They have grass outfield, but turf baseball. I think, doesn't Kaukauna have
Yes.
turf baseball and softball?
Yes.
Yeah, so now you're even seeing it infiltrate into those sports as well. And you talk about spring sports. You have a turf baseball field. You're going to get those games in. The only thing that's going to set you back is maybe cold.
That's true. And with that spring season is already truncated enough, if you know what I mean. So it's good when you're able to be out there and be able to get some competition in. Again, we're here a bit of a weather delay, lightning in the area, but it looks like everything is going to come together pretty soon here. I don't think there's been any other occurrences of lightning.
Well, nothing severe that's come through here. In fact, I'm looking across the way. It looks like the rain has really slowed down, and I haven't seen any flashes of lightning now in quite some time. So I have to think fairly soon we're going to start seeing fans get back into the stands, and we can get the second half underway. Again, 2 touchdowns, Ricardo, both by Neenah in the first half. A 16-yard touchdown run by Ashton Van Beek, the quarterback. 7:01 to play in the quarter, made it 7-0 Rockets. And then right at the end of the quarter, 48.7 seconds to go, Grant Dean, another touchdown. 50-yarder this time. Field goal, PAT was no good. 13-0 is the score as we look at our Cellcom Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard. Of course, when the teams come out, they're going to have some warm-up time, some extra warm-up time, and I think we're going to get this game in.
Trying to see a lot of other teams, by the way, Oshkosh, in the Oshkosh area, those games have also been delayed by lightning in the area, according to Steve Clark, our buddy.
By the way, we got another tweet back from S.C. Lee. I was mentioning the weather down in Texas. They said it's 8:20 down there right now, and it's still 100 degrees. And that's nighttime. You can't even jump in your pools and cool off because those things are like hot tubs, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
I don't think it matters when it's 110, 115 degrees.
Hey, Brett, Xavier leads FBL 20-7 with 1:17 remaining in the first half. Weather delay. Stadium's been cleared according to our buddy Mike Sherry.
Is he there?
Yes. He's covering the Apple Bowl, and then we have our man Dan Cohn covering the East-West showdown in Appleton.
I mean, according to, I don't know, Ricardo, I'm looking at the radar here, mine radar. It looks like it's just moved south to us.
Yeah.
South of us. So hopefully not too much longer.
I'm going to contact Dan Cohn to give me an update on East and West. West kind of took it on the chin last week against Manitowoc Lutheran. Their new head coach, Dominic Thompson, kind of took over, I want to say midway through the season, last season. He was a co-head coach with John Lamers, and he took over the head spot this past offseason. So West trying to rebuild what used to be a very competitive team under Coach Brent Engen, Brett, and they still are, to this day, the only Appleton area school to win a football title.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Think about all the titles that have been won by of course, Kimberly, eight titles, but you think Wrightstown's just up the road.
Appleton North.
Appleton, well, they haven't won a state.
No, but I meant Appleton North has been there.
Yeah.
They've always either ran into Kimberly or something happened in the state semifinals. We knew that one year where they lost to Franklin, where they had Franklin beat, essentially. And Franklin had that big second half surge to kind of pull out the win and then go on and win the state title. Miles, is it Miles? Who was the quarterback? Burkett?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, North Law, that happened to them twice that season,
yes.
Right? They played Franklin early in the season. Same darn thing happened to the Lightning. They had Franklin beat, but then the Sabres made some plays and got back into it and then ended up pulling one up. Boy, that was a stinging loss. That was a darn good Appleton North football team that year.
That was a very cold day, too. We were over at the Titan Stadium for that one.
Of course, Menasha, a surrounding community to Appleton, they've got a football championship and a state runner-up. That is really surprising when you think about it. But think about Green Bay, the city of Green Bay. I'm trying to think if they have Green Bay east, west, Preble, or southwest.
I can't think of any.
I'm not sure if the city of Green Bay has any. It's because, again, the suburban schools.
Woo! Appleton East leading Appleton West 44 to nothing at the half.
44 zip.
44 to nothing. It's in a weather delay. East is outgaining West 247 to 3. They are a team to watch. I'm telling you, that offensive line and the defensive line for Appleton East. Coach Korth here had a lot of kind words to say about that team, and that could be a team that could win a few more games this year. They were 1-8, I want to say, last year. But that's a team that hopefully is going in the right direction with Mark Kromenacher. And Appleton West, look, that's just a tough situation right now for them. They have very, very, very low numbers.
No consistency.
No consistency in the coaching staff, and hopefully, everybody has to start somewhere. Kimberly used to be terrible, right? Now
Menasha too.
Menasha used to be terrible. Now they're very successful programs that have continued success year in and year out. It takes time, but more importantly, it takes dedication and a consistent coaching staff to turn things around.
Ricardo, even Neenah, not all that long ago, had some lean years, and now you're seeing the consistency with Steve Young and turning that program back around and building something.
Right.
Yeah, you need consistency. You can't keep having turnover. Well, I have a few. Purposely, I left some weeks open. Try to give at least myself some flexibility before I lock some games into maybe who's doing what. Maybe Appleton East could be if they get on a hot streak. Maybe a live stream coming for the Patriots. We'll see. We'll see. Next week, as I said, we're at Fond du Lac. That's week 3, and then we're back at Kimberly in week 4 for Kimberly Fond du Lac.
Right.
And then week 5, we're going to be in Wrightstown for Wrightstown Freedom in the Northeastern Conference game.
Nice to drive out to Wrightstown.
Yep.
I do like traveling over to the Tiger Den.
They have a nice setup for us, and that's always a great matchup between two of the stalwarts of the NEC, two teams that make deep playoff runs, and the Mustangs too, and Little Chute. We might have to get them on the stream as well, because I know they had a big win to start the season last week, and a program that's been consistently making deep playoff runs as well. They got a nice quarterback too, and Charlie Vandenberg.
Yes.
Who,
I think he had 4 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, one of the better signal callers in the area, without a doubt. So we're gonna have some options. We're gonna close week 9, Ricardo, Kimberly versus Appleton North. We've got that one locked in as well. So some open dates, week 6, 7, and 8. We'll see how it goes. And then we're gonna stream the first 4 levels. Remember, it's levels.
No, they
the,
call it
playoffs.
levels. We do not call it that. Gannett, USA Today Network, Wisconsin. We do not call it levels. We call it, opening round game, second round game, state quarterfinals, semifinals, and championship.
And that makes sense.
Who does levels? No one does levels. You don't see that in the NFL or any other kind of playoff thing. They don't call that level 2, level 3 in softball, do
You're
they?
wondering how many levels are there?
Yeah.
Well, it's level 2. There could be level 9 levels. You don't know, but yeah, I like to kind of tease you about that. It gets you all riled up.
I just think that's just something silly, but it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things.
I saw the WIA. There was just saw a tweet about this. Was it a couple days ago? Our friend Mark Miller, the Wisconsin basketball yearbook editor. I think there's talk. I thought it was being brought to the table that potentially basketball moving back to quarters.
Well, let me tell you why that is, and actually that was something that came up in our media session with Todd Clark, the communications director there for the WIA.
You were there
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there along with other media members from around the state. Representation from the Journal Sentinel. Also some of the TV stations were there. Carly Marotta from the Wausau area. Doug Ritchie, our buddy from Fox 11.
Yeah.
Brett, and look, right now Wisconsin's a bunch of renegades right now. Okay, we're the only state right now, I think, that does halves.
Is that right?
Yes, we're the only state that does halves, and I'm going to tell you why.
I did not know that.
Why maybe they're considering going back to quarters is because the NFHS sets the ground rules, and they go by quarters. Now that Wisconsin does not do quarters but halves, this was told to me by Todd Clark and the rest of the media, the reason they don't have voting rights now. So they're out of the loop when it comes to voting for things like that. So, and I'm guessing it's because they want to have a say at the table now. You got to revert back to quarters. Now, you and I both agree quarters has been a fantastic, or the halves, going to halves has been a boon for the game.
Love it.
In for me, in so much is that you don't need a shot clock when you have the halves.
You will if you need quarters.
You will, yeah. I would say, yeah. You probably do if you need
I
quarters.
think so.
But right now, again, to be the only outlier doing halves, I think is kind of cool. But you do lose your voting rights, and I can see why they would want to have a say at the table, and then you kind of just acquiesce and do what everyone else is doing.
I thought Minnesota had halves. I thought they had gone to halves, and it was one of the reasons why Wisconsin went to halves as well.
They might have reverted back.
So what would you do? What's Todd saying? What would be back to 8-minute quarters again? I hope not.
I have no idea. Now, Minnesota may still do. I'm just saying they can't vote.
Yeah.
Wisconsin cannot vote.
Is that a big deal?
According to some coaches, it is.
Boy, I think that would be taking the game going in the wrong direction. I think halves has been nice. It brought a nice flow to the game. Not as many stoppages. Scoring went up, I thought. Pace of play went up. When they were 4 8-minute quarters, I was a proponent for the shot clock. I think the game absolutely needed it. When they switched to halves, it just became a more free-flowing, open game. I'm not as strong as a proponent, although Lee Rubus, the Neenah boys basketball coach, came on our podcast last school season, I think it was after the basketball season, and made a pretty good case about, even with halves, why the game in Wisconsin still needs a shot clock. And he kind of talked about end of half, end of game situations that would probably free some things up, because then you get into end of game situations and you can start stalling. All of a sudden you're playing for a longer game because the shot clock, you don't have to get a shot up. He's just saying he thinks it would be better for the game, particularly in those situations, to kind of keep things moving. Get a team maybe that's down 6 with 3 minutes to go, an opportunity to kind of get back in it, or down 9, get a stop, hit a couple threes, and all of a sudden it's a one-possession game. So I understood that. But I don't want to see quarters ever again.
No, I agree. The halves has been much better. I completely agree with you, Brett, on that way. And I think I'm surprised that the coaches would switch back to quarters just to get a vote on the table. But it's important to them, I suppose.
Well, we'll see how that goes. I would assume it's too late for this year. So Bill Glasheen, our photojournalist, still hanging out. Ooh, Bill telling us he can't start the 30-minute countdown until the storm is 10 miles away. I don't think it's 10 miles away.
No.
8:48 or 9:45 start times. Yikes. Okay. Bill, we're running out of things to talk about here. And if we shut this thing down, then we'd have to build a brand new file and start it all back up again. We're talking about Brewers. We're talking about anything we can talk about.
Yeah, so sit tight with those folks who are just waiting out this delay, and hopefully the cameras still have power.
Yeah, they're plugged in.
Okay, good.
But, yeah, I just now, according to my phone here, it says no precip for the next 60 minutes. So let's get going. I suppose that's a WIAA rule. But be nice to kind of get things going again, get this second half. I don't think the second half will be particularly long because both teams love to keep it on the ground, so the clock will continue to run.
Well, I see some activity down there by the coaches, Brett, so
I think they're getting ready. Heck, the Menasha coaches, they're just tossing the football around. You can see that on your screen. But, yeah, again, am I correct in saying they wouldn't go back to quarters this season? At
no,
least
no,
stay
no.
at halves. Yeah,
right.
It's too late at this point. Well, it should be a fun basketball season, particularly on the girls' side, Ricardo. We get to, speaking of Neenah, Allie Zabel, right? The talented, now incoming senior for the Rockets, just won a gold medal for Team USA as part of the FIBA tournament, U19.
It's really coming down in Oshkosh, Brett.
Yeah, it's just a little south of here.
Just like you said, south of us, so we kind of missed that, thank goodness.
But definitely looking forward to seeing Allie in her senior year. Hortonville and Rainey Wilson, they're going to be those are going to be two. Wouldn't be surprised, Ricardo, if it's not like ranked 1 and 2, 2 and 3 in the state, though, those two teams throughout the season. Unfortunately, Kaukauna girls, they lost a heck of a player in Alexa Kinnis, which she blew out her ACL this summer. That's a big blow for Joe Russum and the Ghosts. Just a tremendous athlete Kinnis is, and she'll pick it back up when she heads to college. But in the boys' side, Oshkosh North should stand to be very good with Xavion Mitchell and Stephen Clark, and Neenah's always going to be heard from. Kaukauna I'm hearing good things about with John O'Neill and course, I said Neenah with Brady Corso and those guys, so it should be a fun league. Looking at the boys and girls in the FBA, Northeastern will be tough with the Freedom girls. I imagine they'll still be good, and kind of the usual cast of characters, I would think. Notre Dame girls going for the four-peat. We'll be, I'm sure, chronicling them at some point. So in due time, we'll get to hoops, but we got to get through this storm first.
Clock has, 7:10 remaining. I'm not sure what that is. As we have some activity again on the sidelines with coaches mostly. But, yeah, we're waiting out this weather delay prompted by some lightning in the area that has long since passed by.
Well, yeah, you look at I think it's got to be pretty soon. And then I think we should be pretty good for just about the remainder of the night. But appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Lightning delay at Calder Stadium. We are at halftime, so at least we don't have to finish the first half. We got to halftime.
9 minutes on the clock, 15-minute warm-up.
Okay, thanks to Bill Glasheen. 9 minutes on the clock, and then a 15-minute warm-up. Now, not 90 minutes on the clock.
No.
That's what we're seeing. It's 9 minutes on the clock.
There we go.
And 15-minute warm-up. So we'll get through this last 9 minutes. We'll get the players out onto the field for a 15-minute warm-up, get the fans back in the stands, and quit blabbering here.
Yeah, as we see, all the cheerleaders are back out here, and you're starting to see some more activity now as everyone's going to be returning to the stands. So that's good news. I remember a couple years ago, Brett, remember they had to delay it till the next day.
Yeah. 10-minute
warm-up,
warm-up.
okay.
All right, 10-minute warm-up instead of the 15 minutes, so that's good. Yeah, well, we were streaming that game at Hortonville. It's Hortonville West Appear, and it just went on and on and on, and finally it was like we were streaming. We got to stop this, right? And finally we shut it down, anticipating that they were going to suspend it, and then they picked it up the next day. So that's what you get in these early season games, but luckily we're not in Oshkosh where it's raining cats and dogs down there, although my lawn could use it. Anybody out there that's in the Menasha area, me, Ricardo, and Rosie were at Calder Stadium, a little pizza. Yeah, any pizza delivery, we'll be happy to have a few pieces, and we can't pay for it, so if you, out of the goodness and kindness of your heart, I could go for a couple pieces of pie, huh?
I like begging Brett here.
Getting a little hungry.
It's my favorite Brett.
Getting a little hungry now. They got some good pizza joints in the Neenah Menasha area.
They got pizza downstairs. I could have just took off and got us some.
There you go. Anybody that's maybe listening in the concession stand.
Man, oh man, this guy. Listen to him begging for food.
Look like they're letting fans back in, Ricardo. I
Yes.
see the fans across the way. You can now it's starting to feel. You're starting to feel
Yeah,
that
it's
cool
nice.
down now.
Yeah,
Feels
a little
kind of
bit.
good,
And
doesn't
then
it?
You see tomorrow, Brett, at least on my weather bug, 72 degrees tomorrow.
It's going to be beautiful.
I love that. How many bike miles are you going to put in tomorrow?
Well, I'll watch the Packer game. I'll probably mow the lawn in the morning, watch a little Packer game, and then after maybe a late afternoon bike ride, get about 20 miles in. Got over 1,000 in for the season.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the Packers play at noon, don't they?
Yeah, that's weird for a preseason game.
Yeah, it's all right. I just don't like the NFL with the 2 weeks before the first week of the season.
Yeah, that's too long.
Just move the season ahead a week, or move it back, the start of training camp back a week.
I agree. I mean, yeah, now you have to wait, and everybody's kind of building up, and then you just kind of like the pin popping the balloon, right? Then now you have to have cut down day and do all this stuff. And
And we do have an update on the weather situation. So at 8:48, within the next 6 minutes, you will be allowed to enter back into the stands as you will have warm up for the second half of play tonight, hopefully.
so in 6 minutes, they'll let folks back into the stands.
8:48, you will be allowed back into the stands. It will be for your safety, your benefit.
Raining again at Calder Stadium, a little bit more, a little bit harder than before, but I think this is going to pass here pretty fast. Yeah, Rosie, wind's coming at us, but I don't think this rain's going to stick around very long.
Rosie, yeah, we can see the rain now. It's getting on the camera, Rosie.
What's kind of interesting, too, is they're saying fans can come back in the stands in about 5 minutes. There's fans already in the stands across the way.
See if I can get some other updated scores. Thank you, by the way, everyone, for kind of hanging with us throughout this whole delay. I look at Hank DeWild. Thanks, Hank, again. He's kind of
Good friend.
chatting with us. Yeah, hey, we were taking suggestions on talking points. I think Kakana getting overlooked. And I agree with you on that.
Now that
Kakana
they're
football.
2-0.
Yeah, they're 2-0. They just beat West Pier.
Yep.
Right, and I think they were a team that was kind of a bit of a dark horse in the FVA. It's hard for me to say that they're above Kakana or Kimberly and Neenah or Appleton North right now. All right, Kakana's they got to win those games consistently to be put in that kind of a level. And right now they haven't done that. But do they have the potential to do that? Very much so.
We like to get them on a stream. Hey, we got Kakana football 2 or 3 times last year, including the state semifinals. So. Definitely want to get them on a stream. They're on my radar. Just have to find a good road game.
It's got to be a road game because they
game.
have their own exclusive deal.
Yep, and
we're
that's
not
okay.
going to say with who.
That's okay.
But yes, so we can't do their home games.
But we'll see if we can get them on the road or in the playoffs. See how that all factors. I'm surprised it's raining right now because I look at my radar and I don't see anything.
Yeah, my bug does not have rain either. And Rosie, one of the cameras has condensation on it.
Yeah, the
main one that we're using right now.
The left one. So.
You won't have time.
Well, he's got time.
Oh yeah, because it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you hustle, you can make it. I'm looking at the radar. I don't know where this rain's coming from. There's nothing. Must be just a little speck. But we will have a second half action here at Calder Stadium soon enough in a lightning delay, I guess is what they officially called it, right at halftime. So looks like the rain might be easing up here a little bit. That's not a big deal.
Brett, this is an interesting score.
Mm-hmm.
Wausau West beating De Pere 42-7.
Wow. Wausau West picked to win the Valley Football Association.
And now, Wausau West is legit. I'm just saying, 42-7 though.
But De Pere, which scored 37 last week against Neenah, held to 7 points tonight.
That's quite the game for what is Wausau West? Lumberjacks?
The Warriors.
Warriors. Yes.
Wausau East
Wausau
is the
East
Lumberjacks.
Okay.
Aren't they in a couple years going to combine the two schools?
2025, right? I believe.
So, and what are they just going to be? Wausau High School?
And then what would their nickname be? Which one's the older one? Is it Lumberjacks?
Oh, I think Lumberjack. I love that nickname.
Lumberjacks is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Oshkosh West leading Oshkosh North 7-0. That's according to Oshkosh West Football, their Twitter account, or I'm sorry, their X account.
Whatever it is.
Whatevs.
All these smart guys that are running these big social media companies are doing nothing but gumming them up, making it very difficult to use.
See if I can see some other scores here. Little Chute up over New London, BC, 21-0.
Wow. They're off to a good start.
Franklin absolutely crushing Fond du Lac, Brett, 45-6. Now Fondy's going to be 0-2 going into that game next week.
They got hammered by Sussex Hamilton.
Look, nothing against Fond du Lac. Good people down there. Pluker's a good coach. When I saw that they were picked that high, I laughed. I'm like, there's no way they're the number 2 team in the FVA. Now with Neenah, now with Appleton North, now with Kakana. I'm like, they are not the second team in the FVA. But, it's early. These games don't count in the conference play, but right now, either they're underperforming or these two teams, Sussex Hamilton and Franklin, are just really having good games. It's probably something in the middle. Mishicot over Manny Lutheran, 22-13. So we get some other scores here for you as we thank you again for hanging with us here during this weather delay.
Hopefully that rain eases up here. I don't mind a little wind, but of course the wind's got to be blowing in at us, Ricardo, with all of our
it feels great
gear.
Though. I love it. But the equipment doesn't love it none too much.
Well, again, I think the rain's going to stop here pretty soon. Again, looking at the radar, I don't know where it's coming from. I have no idea.
Hey, no one talks about this, but the Kettle Moraine Bowl, Campbellsport 20, Kewaskum 14. That's in the third quarter.
The Kettle Moraine Bowl, never heard of that.
Mosinee leading Clintonville 28-12. Mayville leading Hustisford, Horicon, the combined team. Husticon, I think they call it, 29-22. Arrowhead, this is an interesting one, Brett, from down the southeastern portion of the state. Arrowhead leading Homestead 7-3.
Okay.
Muskego leading Oak Creek after 3, 7-0.
All right.
Lomar leading Edgerton 13-6. Sorry, Brett.
No, I was just saying both teams coming out onto the field here. I'll do a quick 10-minute warm-up.
Marquette over Catholic Memorial 35-0. Wasn't Catholic Memorial ranked as the #1 team?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they have a tough schedule playing in that conference. They're getting smoked their first 2 weeks now. They're going to drop to 0-2. Rosie, are you going to hold that the whole time? Are you going to hold that the whole time? Rosie has some umbrella. Are you going to hold that the whole time?
Probably not.
Okay.
Rosie will divide. He's like MacGyver. He's going to figure something out. Yeah, Rosie might just do one camera. Rosie, I don't know where this rain's coming from. I keep thinking it's going to ease up here pretty soon.
Hey, Brett, look at this. Hudson 14, Spash 14.
Okay.
End of the third quarter. Spash putting up a fight.
Fans coming back into the stands as well. I'm going to check the radar one more time. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Now it looks like the rain is slowing down a tad. Might be a few raindrops here and there. Tell the offensive coordinators, Ricardo, both teams, run the ball. Well, you can see the countdown. Both teams back onto the field.
Yeah, it's about an hour rain delay, I would say. Well, that includes the 15 minutes that they would have had for halftime, too.
Now the rain, thankfully, easing up here too, Rosie, so that's good news as well. And I think we can get through most of the second half. Fairly dry. Telling fans to be careful as they come up to...
Yeah, could be a little slick.
Yep. Rosie, keep that in mind when we're packing up and heading out, too. We don't want to be tripping on stuff. We need you available for the stream season.
And I have Terrific 10 coming up. We need you.
Looks like the rain has stopped, so that's good. I don't see any more rain coming down.
We need Rosie thinking about other people, not just you. Yeah, again, talk about Menasha and Neenah here. Neenah being able to get that 13-0 lead, but Menasha's had its opportunities. They had 2 opportunities inside the 13 to score points. Came away with nothing. I think that's obviously foremost in Jeremy Court's mind. Also, the defense, while they've played pretty well for the most part, have given up a couple of big passing plays. Then, of course, the Grant Dean 50-yard touchdown run toward the end of that first half. That's kind of been the story of this game. Again, Neenah playing without Evan Van Evenhoven. They have the freshman Ashton Van Beek in at quarterback.
Done well.
He has done well, letting his teammates carry the bulk of the load, but he's made a couple nice passes. Again, a freshman, Brett.
Yeah.
In the FBA at quarterback?
He was playing middle school football a year ago. Now he's quarterbacking one of the top-ranked teams in the state. Well, I'll take this time as we get ready for the second half to thank our sponsors one more time. Cellcom, unlimited data for smartphones, is now more affordable than ever at Cellcom with new unlimited data plan options starting as low as $25 per month per line. No matter how many lines you need, Cellcom has you covered. Visit cellcom.com/unlimited plus for details. And Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear, they have the skills and experience to customize your apparel and spread the word about your organization. Contact them today at 920-731-0922 or send them an email at Cooney's, COONEYS 0922 at sbcglobal.net. Ricardo, I also want to plug our USA Today Sports Plus app. That's the new sports app that puts the fans first. Get the latest scores, stats, and standings, and enjoy interactive experiences with our award-winning sports writers. Download USA Today Sports Plus from the Apple or Google Play stores today. USA Today Sports Plus, fan harder.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the young Van Beek has a 16-yard touchdown run. Remember that, Brett?
Yep.
And passing, he is 3 for 3 for 61 yards.
Okay, well, 2 of them to the tight ends,
yes,
right?
And I would say that Coach Young would be happy with his quarterback averaging 20 yards of completion.
Yep. A little bit of rain falling again as we're about 4 minutes from the
Brett,
start
you told me
of the
the rain
second
was
half.
over.
Well, it looked like it. I don't know where it's coming from. I keep thinking Rosie's going to be in the clear now for a while, and I hope that's the case.
Now, Neenah leads 13-0, and they get the ball back to start the second half.
Yeah, so an opportunity. You know they're going to rely on that run game, right, with Grant Dean and those guys. Maybe some play action with Van Beek, but something to keep in mind, the wind has now picked up.
Yes.
So the front's moving through, so trying to throw the ball in pretty windy conditions right now is going to be difficult. And that wind is now really picking up as Rosie's got the umbrella trying to keep things as dry as can be.
Yeah, that rain's still coming down.
Yeah, now it's really coming down again. You can see it on the camera there, shot. And I guess it's just going to be kind of one of those nights here for a while. Maybe they might want to stop and wait for this to go through again.
They can play in a little rain, Brett.
Can they? Well, we can't. Not our equipment.
Arrowhead now leads Homestead 14-3. Check out some of these other local or other state scores of significance. Obviously, Wausau West beating De Pere 42-7. Holy mackerel! Ray Reinick, 24 carries, 194 yards, 3 touchdowns for Wausau West. The Warriors, not the Lumberjacks, the Warriors.
Nope, the Warriors. Well, they're going to get the second half underway. Wow. Ricardo, it's a downpour.
It is. Your famous last words, Brett. I think the rain is over.
Well, it sure looked like it on the radar, but hopefully soon. Looks like the players are more than excited to get out there.
Yeah. Sitting in that locker room for an hour.
And a squib kick to start the second half. Picked up by number 20, Joe Drawnick. And Mash kind of fired up playing in the elements here as we are underway here to start the second half. And a flag on the play to open this second half. So hopefully we get this little burst of rain through and we can have some clear football, Ricardo, the rest of the night.
Face mask on Menasha is the call. Rosie doing yeoman's work, holding that umbrella over his cameras, his precious cameras. Ball's going to be at the 42. And that's where the Rockets will start here to start the second half. Leading 13-0. Bit of a close formation.
And off. Nope, Van Beek's going to keep it again. Watch out. He's got some speed along that far sideline and a nice little play call to start. Again, we saw that in the first half too, Ricardo. Grant Dean commands so much attention that Van Beek, little play fake to Dean, and he's just wide open. First down to start this second half on the run by the freshman quarterback.
12-yard run, pick up by Van Beek, takes it up to the 46 of Menasha. Nice play call for the Rockets. First down and 10 at the 46 for Neenah. Van Beek. Handoff, left side. That is Dean.
Boy, good hard run by Dean, not going down. To start the second half, a couple nice, impressive runs by the Rockets on a very rainy third quarter.
I have 13 carries, 115 yards for Grant Dean, Brett. Brett is making sure that our computer unit here is nice and dry.
That's not going to work, is it? I'm trying.
You are. Second down and 7 from the 43 of Menasha. Rockets give off to Dean off the left side.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, Grant Dean, another touchdown run. Ricardo, was that? What do you have there? 43-yard run by Grant Dean, and just like that, the Rockets strike again. Another Grant Dean touchdown run. So 2 touchdown runs by Grant Dean. That one didn't take very long at all. He's got a 58-yarder, is that? Or no, 50-yarder, I'm sorry, and then a 43-yarder. And that's a good way to open this second half. And timeout for the Rockets. So we've seen all 8 of Grant Dean's touchdown runs this season. He has 7 rushing on the season and now 8 total.
Absolutely, Brett. You know what? He's our early season player of the year.
Long way to go. But looks awfully explosive, doesn't he? Boy, Grant Dean, he gets going, and somebody saw this against De Pere last week too. He kind of got tripped up, but he's got such fantastic balance to get through some of those leg tackles, ankle tackles, and once he does maintain his balance, then the jets turn on, and you're not going to catch him. So timeout after that touchdown by the Rockets. Liam Wasco. No, they're going to go for 2. Rockets are going to go for 2. The offense is out on the field. So Van Beek waiting for the snap here, trying to get that 2-point conversion. Van Beek going to fire it to the back of the end zone, and he's got Briones for the 2-point conversion. Nice little play design there, and make up for that missed PAT in the second quarter. As we look at our Cellcom and Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard, Neenah up 3 scores, 21-0. Perfect start for the Rockets, and now a big hole, Ricardo, for this Menasha offense, down 3 scores.
Brett, I just felt a raindrop on me.
Oh, you'll be okay.
All right, I'm
You're
just
not gonna
saying.
melt.
I felt one.
You're not going to melt, even though you do act like the Wicked Witch of the West sometimes.
That's right. I like
But,
to think I'm more like Glenda the Good Witch.
If you're Jeremy Korth, I mean, obviously you got to kind of calm the troops down here, right? You're not going to come back with one drive and tie this thing up. But boy, you got to get something going offensively. And you mentioned that in the first half, those numerous golden opportunities, 2 or 3, I think, inside the 20, just couldn't punch it in. Come away with nothing on that scoreboard.
One of those was down to the 2-yard line.
Yeah,
remember?
then there was a procedure penalty that moved them back to the 7. So you go from being right at the goal line to getting back to the 7-yard line, and then that Neenah defense took it from there. Long kickoff. That's number 1, Ty Carlson, getting his hands on the ball, and near the 20.
25.
25,
I think
yeah.
they're calling it the 24.
You know, Steve Young, he told you this on the play of freshman quarterback Ashton Van Beek, again stepping in last week against De Pere and playing well after Evan Van Evenhoven went out with that sprained left wrist in the 3rd quarter. Quote, "It was nice. The kids clapped him off the field because that was big. That's a high-stress situation, and for a 9th grader to handle that, he handled it with ease," end quote. Well, he's handling it with ease again tonight. He looks pretty darn impressive coming in at the backup spot, and Rockets don't seem to be missing a beat. That's a handoff to Elijah Guy from Logan Legal. Or check that, Elijah Geigel. That's what I was told, it was Geigel by one of the Menasha folks today.
So Legal and Geigel, they're cops.
It's tough. Yeah, it sounds like a cop show, doesn't it?
Yeah. Or lawyers, like the attorneys of Legal and Geigel.
You know, and then going back to that touchdown run by Grant Dean, and we kind of saw that when he was tripped up. I know you talked to Grant Dean last week on his game after that De Pere where he had 5 rushing touchdowns, 6 overall. He credited Jace Jenkins.
Yes, he did.
And, of course, Jace Jenkins, a hard running back last year for the Rockets, had such a sensational season as Legal looking for something. Briones, one of the first ones in on that tackle. But, yeah, he said, Jace Jenkins taught me all that hard running. I think he told you that with a smile. But then he also credited time in the weight room. That also comes from the weight room. Our strength coach is a good guy, and that's where we get it from. Again, you can always read Ricardo's recaps on postcrescent.com. What, Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Get that.
We'll both have. There'll be 2 things, Brett. There'll be an City of Appleton area kind of recap, and then there'll be a Fox Valley, the greater area wrap up.
And you can get all of that content, our live streams, a whole bunch of other stuff too. A digital subscription, $1 for 6 months. Go to postcrescent.com/subscribe. Any of our sites /subscribe. Boy, Legal,
look out!
And he somehow is able to get rid of it. That was number 70 again, Hudson Tumulian wrapping up Legal, but good job by those defensive backs and the back end of that defense. There was nowhere for Legal to throw, and now the Blue Jays are going to have to punt it away. So not what you wanted from a Blue Jays offensive standpoint, and worse yet, Ricardo, Grant Dean's back to receive this kick. So what you don't want to do is kick it to him, but that's going to be made a little bit more difficult with this swirling, blowing wind. Kind of a crosswind is really coming to your screen, to us here in the press box. So let's see how. Whoa, high snap!
Out.
Watch out!
I was going to say, Brett, that ball's wet.
He's just going to try to get it. Wow, somehow Legal got it away. And a pretty good punt considering. I know it's going to be in Menasha territory, but that could have been a touchdown or a safety with a wet football with rain coming down. And Legal at least got it away, give his defense a fighting chance here with Neenah coming onto the field to try to add to this lead.
I'm going to say it ends up being an 11-yard punt, but it could have been worse. A recovery in the end zone or something like that, a safety.
again, thanks to everybody hanging out with us and sticking with us. Postcrescent.com. We're streaming it also to our Facebook page, the Post-Crescent, and the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Rosie and I talked about it because of some overlap. You know, the Green Bay Notre Dame Tritons will be interested in how Menasha does. Of course, there's some teams up in the Green Bay neck of the woods of how Neenah will do because there'll be some overlap in the playoffs. And trying to see who's, boy, tough run. Finally brought down. Is that the quarterback again, Van Beek? Boy, playing tough. He's taking some shots. Ricardo, I'm impressed.
Yeah, he's doing very well. They had him prepared well. He probably, I'm going to guess, took a majority of the snaps during the week. He's really, you know, these last 2 weeks has really impressed, putting in a tough situation. As Coach Young said, you know, he's run with it.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, too, he came in, that was a tight game, a high-scoring game, and it was kind of anybody's game in the fourth quarter, and he maintained his poise, ran the offense well, and he and Grant Dean worked well together. Van Beek, touchdown pass. This time 24 yards to Luke Keller. And again, the play action causing fits for that defense. Keller wide open over the middle of the field. What was it, 24? 24, yep.
And Van Beek, the freshman, 4 for 4, 85 yards throwing.
And I'm not sure what happened there. Was he going to try a two-point conversion? That time no good.
That was a two-point conversion attempt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there may be a little concern in that with how the wind is, maybe trying to get a good kickoff. But two quick touchdowns. Going through the scoring here. We have a 16-yard touchdown run by Van Beek. A pair of long runs, scoring runs by Grant Dean, 50 yards and 43 yards. And now the 24-yard pass from Van Beek to one of Ricardo's Elite 11s, Luke Keller. 27-0. The Rockets lead with 7:57 remaining in this third quarter as we look at our Cellcom, Coonies, Embroidery, and Sportswear scoreboard. I mentioned, we're streaming on our USA Today Network Wisconsin YouTube page, so subscribe to that if you wouldn't mind. But I mentioned Menasha Notre Dame. That's one of the reasons why we're streaming to the Facebook page, the Press Gazettes. The Notre Dame fans will be interested in how the Blue Jays are looking because the Tritons and the Blue Jays are expected to compete for the Fox River Classic Conference South title. A little good rivalry developing. The two teams split their meetings last season, and both were decided by one score. Blue Jays earning a 28-21 victory in Week 7 right here at Calder Stadium on their way to winning the conference championship, but the Tritons got their revenge. That was a WIAA Division III second-round playoff matchup, winning 26-21 here at Calder. That's Ty Carlson with the return again. Notre Dame then wound up falling to West Salem in the state quarterfinal the following week. Menasha a 3-2 lead in the series, which started during the alternate spring season in 2021. Blue Jays and Tritons meet again this season in Week 7. Ricardo up at Notre Dame, and the Tritons, as you know, they're led by 6'5", 220-pound junior tight end linebacker James Flanagan, one of the top tight end recruits nationally in his class.
Brett, is that one of the games we're hoping to live stream? Or Notre Dame's too tough to?
It's kind of not a lot of press box space, as I recall. I'm not sure about the internet connection as well. But Flanagan, you know all about that name, the Flanagan name, the son of former
Jim
Bears.
Flanagan.
Yeah, Jim Flanagan. Ooh, high throw to Ty Carlson. Grant Dean was right there. Boy, and Ricardo, now or never for the Blue Jays to get something going.
It's imperative that they have a drive going, if anything, to flip the field. Help out your defense a little bit. Second down and 10 from the 24.
Well,
I wonder how much wind is. That was thrown right into the wind. I'm going to think.
Well, and here's the thing too, and this Rockets defense, if they can get off the field, get their offense that's red hot back on. All of a sudden now you get a touchdown 2-point conversion. You'll have running clock here in the second half. Blue Jays do not want that. They want to try to whittle away at this deficit. But two quick touchdowns here in the second half for the Rockets. There's a handoff. Not a lot there at all. And Jeremiah Zank looking for some open running, but the Blue Jays defense plugging those holes pretty quick, and now you have a third and a long 9 coming up. Ball at the 25-yard line. And a passing situation. And the passing game has not been clicking tonight, other than the real nice hookup between
Schwarzkopf. And,
Schwarzkopf and Legal. Yep.
Legal. I'll tell you this, Brett. Neenah's defense playing a lot better than we saw last week against De Pere.
No doubt about it. Pitching a shutout, and really, other than that one big pass play, is a shut down this past game. Now Legal, he's got some time. No, let's see. Now he's on the run. Timulian.
There's no one to throw to.
Yeah, nobody to throw to. And 4th down coming up, and the Blue Jays will have to punt it away again. And you're kind of starting to see maybe a few heads on that sideline, some players. Frustration seeping in for the Blue Jays without a doubt.
Brett, after 3 quarters of play, 51-0, Appleton East over Appleton West. That's according to Dan Cohn. West obviously a program that's
they're in a rebuild.
They're in a definite rebuild, and East is a team that likes to think that they're not really in a rebuild, that they've got something going.
They're in a build, right?
They're in a build. Yeah, there you go.
They're not rebuilding; they are building.
Yes.
Legal. Whoa! I'm not sure where you're going to spot that one. That's a shank punt there.
Where's the triangulation?
Ugh. I will never understand how they quite figure that out, but it's going to be right at the 30-yard line of the Menasha Blue Jays. So
punt of 5 yards.
Neenah now really knocking at the door in complete command of this one, and as I said, a touchdown 2-point conversion. They'll be running clock the second half.
Again, this game was very close after the first quarter and most of the half. Boy, oh boy, how different would it be if Menasha was able to get a couple touchdowns when they were inside the 13?
When they're giving up that Grant Dean touchdown towards right at the end of the fast. Oh, boy. Yeah, he's not going to be caught. That's Grant Dean again, far sideline, and he's in. 30-yard touchdown. Did he give it to him? Are they saying he's out? I can't tell what they're.
No, it's a touchdown.
It is a 30-yard touchdown for Grant Dean. Boy, it looked like he not only seen his speed, but it looked like he was going to get angled out of bounds there short of the goal line, but a little maybe stutter step and just powered his way in. And the Rockets lining up for a 2-point conversion that would make it a 35-0 game. Van Beek, a little misdirection, and there he is. Oh, right through Keller's. Did Keller drop that? Couldn't see if a Blue Jay defender got his hand in on it, so stays 33-0. Rockets all over the Blue Jays as we look at our Cellcom Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard. So a lot of good things, Ricardo, for Neenah, but they're going to be working on those 2-point plays, right?
Absolutely.
So 3 touchdown runs tonight for Grant Dean, 50, 43, and 30 yards. Well, that's 123 yards just on his touchdown runs. That you mentioned, that was a close game up until the last minute of the first half. Then Grant Dean, that 50-yard sprint to the end zone, made it 13-0. And you said, Ricardo, this could be a little bit of a different game if the Blue Jays were able to punch in a couple of those short fields, turn those into touchdowns.
So again, total up Grant Dean's rushing day so far. 15 carries, 188 yards. That's Grant Dean so far.
Neenah coach Steve Young talking to you about Grant Dean's Week 1 performance. I think you can probably say the same, but quote, he said he's special.
He is. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Coach Young said a lot of times he'll just run through and there's not anything there, and he makes things happen. In the first half, he gave us that edge that we needed, and we needed him to carry us at the end of the game. Well, he's kind of doing some special things again tonight, but with the help of Van Beek and his play at quarterback as just a freshman. But 9 touchdowns on the season for Grant Dean.
Sounds right. Again, it's early, Brett, but hey, he's the leader in the clubhouse
Well, now
for
for
POY.
now for Menasha, Ricardo, what do you just do, right? Now you're just trying to
You're just trying to get drives going, get some first downs.
feel good about yourself going into next week, and this one more than likely going to be a tough comeback, I would think. Hand off to Elijah Geigel. Looking at the schedule coming up for Menasha, they will be hosting Manitowoc, then at Green Bay West, home against Green Bay East, at Sheboygan South, at Notre Dame, the big one, Week 7, that's September 29th up in Green Bay, then Sheboygan North, and then at Green Bay Southwest.
Listen, of all those teams, none of those teams are remotely close to as good as Neenah, so you do get that in terms of you're not going to play a team as good as Neenah anymore.
Right.
But what can you pull away from this? You gotta. There's going to be plenty of stuff for them to improve on and to correct.
Good run by Zank, so third down coming up. Well, you're right, Ricardo. What do you pull from this? Well, what you pull from this is how you respond down 33-0. You know, do you pack it in, or you put some drives together, like you said, prevent a running clock, right? And maybe tack 1 or 2 scores in, and then you start feeling pretty good about yourself going into the rest of the season. I think we both agree in the FRCC South, they're going to win a lot of games in that league, and they're going to get better as the season goes on. They'll be a playoff team, and see how they play against Notre Dame in Week 7. But there's the start. There's a start of something you can build upon. One drive leads to a first down finally. I think that's the first down of the second half for the Blue Jays offense.
2-yard carry. Brings up first down and 10 from the 32. 5-minute mark here in the third quarter, and this is all Neenah now, 33-0. Again, they led 13-0 at the half. Low snap again.
Schwarzkopf with the catch. And nice little move to pick up about 7 yards, maybe 8. I think that's about an 8-yard gain. Good job by Legal, Ricardo, on that low snap.
I mean, yeah, in these conditions, that ball's a little wet. At the 40-yard line, 2nd down and 2, manageable down here for Menasha. Legal.
Ooh, low snap again, somehow corrals. He looked like a little shortstop out there. Out of bounds, though, is what the referee's saying. Intended pass to Schwarzkopf, so 3rd and short coming up for Logan Legal and this offense.
Brett, that looked at the same play.
Yeah.
Actually.
Down territory, down 33-0, so 2 cracks at trying to get this first down, keep this drive moving for Logan Legal in this offense. Let's see what Legal can do. Another low snap, does a good job to scoop it up. He's got the first down and more in Neenah territory past the 50. So a nice little march now going for the Blue Jays after surrendering 3 touchdowns here in this third quarter.
Ball's going to be placed in Neenah territory at the 49, so an 11-yard gain for Legal. So 2 first downs so far for Menasha, something you'd like to see if you're Jeremy Korth. Finally, the offense kind of getting a little bit of a rhythm going.
Yeah, and Ricardo, I like the fact that, okay, it's 33-0. We're not going to just start doing stuff we're not used to doing. And they're just going to continue to run their offense, use this to kind of build, as we said, for next week and the rest of the season. Try to get some things cleaned up and do what we do best. And a good drive going now for the Blue Jays in Neenah territory. Ball now at the 44.
Yeah, 5-yard gain now.
Official doing his best to make sure the ball stays where it's supposed to be with this wind. Now it looks like the rain has finally stopped, so that's a good thing.
Rosie's happy about that.
Yeah.
Able to put away the parachute, or I'm sorry, the umbrella.
I'm just glad I had some of these extra shirts to cover up our stuff in the booth here. Handoff is that Geigel diving forward. Third down coming up. They call him Geigel here, but I was told it was Geigel. I'm going to trust my source, my Menasha source.
That's why you're the best, Brett.
I'm not the best. I'm just me.
You're just the guy.
I'm just me. Just be you. That's all you got to be.
Third down and 2.
That's all you got to be in this life.
All
Just
right,
be
enough
you.
with the mantras.
That's my motivational speech to you tonight.
I've gotten more motivational speech from Matt Foley. Come on, Brett.
Is that the guy that's down in the van by the river?
Yep.
Yeah. There's
You got it.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see where the official is. The sideline official across the way is a little shy. And nope, they're going to give him the first down. They're going to say right at the 39-yard line. Two touchdowns by Grant Dean this half, 43 yards and 30 yards, and a 24-yard touchdown pass from Ashton Van Beek to Luke Keller. All Neenah in the second half, and all Neenah in this game. 33-0 Rockets with the lead in this non-conference game. Looks like the Rockets now gonna win the 99th installment of this series. They should do something special next year when they play 100, right? They should really do that up.
They should.
We should be there for that.
That's the case. I'm sure we will be.
Will we be?
You make the decisions on that.
Nice catch by Schwarzkopf. Boy, that ball just kind of floated across the field, but a good pass by Legal.
Yeah, and that was thrown into the wind.
Yeah. Schwarzkopf doing a nice job. Just going up, grabbing it, showing off his jumping ability, his vertical, something I have no idea what that's about.
Our guy Hank DeWell, St. Oshkosh West, beat the Brookfield Spartans last week. Beat West Bend West tonight. 2-0 Oshkosh West. Thanks for that update. I thought for some reason I thought North and West were playing. I was wrong on that.
So they're gonna play the North Spartans later this year, right?
Yes.
A lot of Spartans on the schedule. Ooh, low snap again. Geigel tripped up by Aiden Carey, the senior inside linebacker.
It's been tough sledding for Geigel. I mean, the guy is getting hit just about every time. He before he even hits the line of scrimmage. Ball's at the 26, so he gained 2 yards on that. Less than a minute remaining in this game. I'm sorry, in the third quarter.
Play fake. Legal. Ooh. I think he ran into big number 92 again. Tawan Rich. 6 foot, 245-pound senior defensive lineman. And we got fourth down coming up, I believe. Or is it third down? Oh, third down, I'm sorry.
Are they marking that at the 24? Third down and 6, yes.
Looks like that'll be the final play of this third quarter. So quick moving third quarter. We have one more quarter to play at Calder Stadium, a rainy night. We look at our Cellcom, Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard. All Neenah 33-0 over the Blue Jays in this Week 2 non-conference matchup. 12 more minutes to go in this one. And then we get ready for Week 3. Don't forget about that digital subscription, folks. 6 months for just $1. Go to any of our sites, postcrescent.com, for instance, /subscribe. You get unlimited digital access, and that'll take you all the way through the spring season. By the way, the spring season, Ricardo, I think we can say it. We will be back in person for our Northeast Wisconsin High School Sports Award show in
yes.
spring. I don't know a date yet. Presumably will be held at the Lambeau Field Atrium up in Green Bay again. We were planning to do that this past spring, but circumstances out of our control dictated that we had to kind of flip it, and we decided as a group amongst ourselves that we're just going to do a virtual show, and it turned out very well, actually using the Ron Einerson Fieldhouse at now now the Neenah Middle School, I guess
Biggest
it is.
middle school in the state.
We just wanted to showcase the Ron Einerson Fieldhouse one more time before Neenah moved to its brand new school. And thought it turned out well. Legal can't get it to number 11, the intended target, Quinn Ludvigsen. So 4th down now coming up for the Blue Jays. Almost there. But yeah, looking forward to being back in person. You and I will host it, and getting everybody back in one spot. That's how that's the best way to do those sports award shows. But we'll honor, I'm sure, some of these athletes that we're going to see this season on the football field. We'll have Football Player of the Year. Every sport, including now lacrosse. We're going to have to add lacrosse to the mix. Is that a spring?
Times are changing, my friend.
Spring sport, right? Maybe we should stream some lacrosse.
I don't know anything about lacrosse.
He scored.
Yes. And there's another pass, throw,
What is it?
something.
It's like soccer, basketball, hockey, all kind of in one, right? So we can make our way through that. Probably a fast action or fast moving game, sport. Legal, looking for something, and where he's going to be short. He'll be short a few yards, so turnover on downs, and now that Neenah offense back on the field. But yeah, so we had boys and girls lacrosse, right?
Yes.
Both in the spring.
They haven't decided yet, and I was talking to Todd Clark about this. They haven't decided where the state championships would be.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Boy, I'd have no idea. You know what they should do? Add another, how about UW Stevens Point, right in the
How about
center?
UW Oshkosh? Forget about Stevens Point. No one wants to go to Stevens Point.
Yes, they do. And get yourself a nice Bill's pizza.
Yeah,
But
well, you can. That's the only good thing about Stevens Point.
yeah, I was just in Stevens Point today. Had to make a run over there.
I did. You recommended what's that place? The Ledge or the Hill?
Hilltop.
Hilltop.
Yeah, right
Very
on
good.
Highway 10.
Very good.
Yep.
I did go there.
Mm-hmm. Hand off. That looks like number 6 now on the carry. Zane Schmidt. I think so. Listed on the program that I have here as a 5'10", 150-pound junior wide receiver, but getting some touches here. Does that mean Grant Dean's night is done?
It might be, and if that's the case, BC, have him for 15 carries, 188 yards, and how many touchdowns? 3?
3 more. 3 rushing. So what does he have? 8
9
rushing.
on the year. 8 rushing, 1 kickoff return.
Van Beek's going to keep it, and he's going to reverse field, and he's going to try to get around. Good decision by the freshman quarterback. Still on his feet near sideline, and cuts it back inside. He wasn't going to allow himself to get pushed out of bounds. What a run by the freshman quarterback. And Van Beek, slow to get up, though. He took a pretty good shot. He's grabbing his knee, his right knee a little bit. I wonder if he just kind of came down hard on the turf. Not what you want to see if you're Steve Young, because that was a heck of a run. He was designed to go to the left, saw that was nothing there, stopped, reversed field, and then off to the races. And Ricardo, for a freshman, he's got some wheels.
He does.
Hopefully he's all right, though. You can
56-yard run for him. A quick total up what his rushing numbers are.
Head coach Steve Young now coming out to check on his young signal caller. Hopefully he's all right. I'm not sure who comes in now at quarterback.
Spash beat Hudson 21-14.
Wow.
Brett, that's nice because Spash took it on the chin last week.
Good for
Come
them.
back to beat Hudson. That's nice.
Looks like he's on his feet. Ricardo looks like he's all right. Good to see. Nice run by, and it's good to see he's jogging off the field too. So hopefully he can get back in there. Missed this one play, but you talk about endearing yourself to your football team, right? Coming in as a freshman and playing well. So Ricardo looks like Luke Keller now is going to take. No, who's back there? No, number 45, and there's going to be a direct snap to Zane Schmidt instead, trying to get around the corner. He also had 45 back there, Jonah Rittner, a sophomore.
Well, Brett, that long run by Van Beek, 4 carries. I have him unofficially for 101 yards.
Wow.
So he's been really doing the job on the ground. We know passing-wise, he's been doing it as well.
What I love, though, is his decision-making. Again, he didn't try to force something. He's like, you know what, it's not there, and he had enough speed to get all the way back on this side of the field, turn the corner, and then off to the races. So good job by Van Beek as Rittner and Schmidt now back there again. And Schmidt, a little handoff to, is that Collins, trying to get some yardage, and they've got the first down to the 10. And now wondering if, as the rain kind of starts up again, if that's going to be it for Van Beek.
Brett, who does Neenah play next week again?
Yeah, let me run down
Appleton East,
their schedule. Yeah, they're at Appleton East. That's next Friday night. Or no, check that. It's next Thursday night.
Okay.
And then home against Kaukauna, at Oshkosh West, home against Appleton North, at Kimberly, Fond du Lac, and then at Oshkosh North. So some tough games coming
Collins
up.
will score.
Wow, that's a 10-yard touchdown run by Chase Collins. And a running clock now for the remainder of this game. Liam Wasco out for the PAT. Wasco's kick is good. And with 10:04 remaining in this game, we look at our Cellcom Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear scoreboard. All Neenah, 40-0, running clock coming up the rest of this game. Awfully impressive performance, particularly in the second half.
Yeah.
Rockets using that break productively, apparently, with how explosive they have become in this game offensively. Remember, it was kind of a grinded out much of the first half, and then boom. Two touchdown runs by Grant Dean. Van Beek, the 24-yard hookup to Luke Keller. Now Chase Collins, a 10-yard touchdown run. That's the second half scoring. All Neenah. Grant Dean with 3 touchdowns tonight. He's got 9 on the season, 8 rushing. Van Beek had a 16-yard touchdown run as well. Thought we were going to be, remember I even told you, is this going to be a defensive battle, defensive grind?
Well, it was that way, and then Neenah really kind of took command. And, there's a lot of stuff here for Menasha to clean up. Again, I got to reiterate this. They're not playing a team.
Now we have another lightning delay.
Brett, I thought the storm was gone.
Well, I thought so, too. There must be another storm cell coming through. So we are under another lightning delay.
Whoa, easy there, Rosie.
Rosie's getting crabby out there.
I think that's what they're going to talk about.
Well, I think so, too. I think you at this point,
Yes.
It's going to be running clock anyway the rest of the half or the rest of the game. It's going to be over with fast. So I think that would probably be a good decision at this point. Just make it a final.
And Young just saw his young freshman quarterback have a hard tackle. And it looks like they're saying it's over.
It's over, yep. they're going to call the game, and that's going to be how this one ends tonight.
So smart decision by both coaches, Brett, to do this. You don't want to endanger anybody.
No, and
Keep this thing going, 40-0. Big win for Neenah.
definitely the right decision. Again, with running clock, 40-0, and it would have been over within 10 minutes anyway. So hopefully the rain eases up. We can pack up. But quick thoughts before we wind down.
Yeah, for one thing, first up, Menasha, again, you ain't going to play a team as good as Neenah the rest of the way. They're a Division III team. Neenah is in my opinion, a top 7, top 8 Division I team.
Top 5 maybe.
Top 5 even.
Yeah.
You're not going to play a team that good the rest of the way.
Yeah.
What do you got to do? Well, okay, we got to clean up the mistakes that we made. We got to improve, especially on offense, more consistency there. Defense, not allow those big plays because you're going to have some games, some very winnable games coming up here until that showdown. You said in Week 7?
Week 7 against Notre Dame, yep.
How many times have we seen this with Menasha? They're going to be just fine towards the end of the year. They'll be contention for that FRCC South title. They'll be fine. Neenah, you got to love what you see here. You got to hope that Ivan Van Evenhoven's coming back, but you got to be intrigued by what you have with this young freshman quarterback, Brett. I can't believe he's a freshman. Again, over 100 yards passing. Okay, no, 101 yards on 4 rushes, rushing. And I believe he was 4 for 4. I can't remember what I had for him, but he was perfect passing.
With a touchdown pass,
yes,
too.
with the touchdown. He was 4 for 4 for 85 yards, passing the football, Brett, with the touchdown. So a lot of good things to see there for Neenah. They have, barring injury, one of the top teams in Division I. It'll be very fun to see how they continue to improve. They want to take that next step, and by next step, Brett, I think their goal is to win the FEA outright.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they split that championship, I believe, with Kimberly last year. So this is a good team. This is a very, very good team. Watch out for these Neenah Rockets. They need to be ranked higher than what you see in WisSports.net.
Good stuff, Ricardo. I know you can't wait to get out on that rainy field.
Yeah,
so
if
good
they're
luck.
going to be sticking around, if they're all just going to take off, I'm not sure that. I might have to contact them over the phone. But, yeah. But anyway, Brett, thank you guys so much.
Yep.
Next Thursday.
Next
We'll see you
Thursday
guys
down
again.
in Fond du Lac.
Okay.
Check
Sounds
out
great.
Fond du Lac and Appleton North. Yeah, and don't forget Bill Glasheen's photo gallery as well. And later tonight on postcrescent.com and Ricardo's recap on Sunday as well. I'm going to run down the scoring quickly. 3 touchdown runs by Grant Dean tonight, 50, 43, and 8 yards. We just saw the 10-yard touchdown run by Chase Collins to end the game now as the coaches decided to pull the plug because there was going to be another lightning delay. 16-yard touchdown run that got the Rockets on the scoreboard in the second quarter by Van Beek. And then Van Beek to Luke Keller, 24-yard touchdown pass midway through the third quarter. All Neenah tonight, 42-0. With the victory, the Rockets ranked 9th in Division I. They're 2-0 on the season. They are at Appleton East on Thursday. Fox Valley Association matchup. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m. Menasha falls to 1-1 on the season. They're back at it. FRCC South game right here at Calder Stadium against Menasha. That's next Friday. Kickoff also set for 7 p.m. We're going to be at Fond du Lac, the brand new field at Fond du Lac High School next Thursday night. Cardinals hosting Appleton North. Live coverage will kick off at 6:45 p.m., so be there for that. And a quick final shout out to our sponsors. Cellcom unlimited data for smartphones is now affordable, more affordable than ever at Cellcom with new unlimited data plan options starting as low as $25 per month per line. No matter how many lines you need, Cellcom has you covered. Visit cellcom.com/unlimitedplus for details. And Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear. They have the skills and experience to customize your apparel and spread the word about your organization. Contact them today, 920-731-0922, or send them an email at Cooney's, COONEYS 0922 at SBCglobal.net. We got to get Rosie out of the element. So for Ricardo, for Rosie and the crew with USA Today Network Wisconsin, Brett Christopherson signing off from Calder Stadium here in Menasha. Once again, the final score tonight, Rockets 40, Blue Jays nothing. Thanks for watching, everybody.